Aloha and welcome, fellow dreamers within this beautiful holographic matrix. Thank you so much for joining in for another inspirational paradigm shift central team podcast. This is our paradigm shift dream class where we come together to be able to practice talking about the ever so exciting topic of dreams, dream experiences, dreams tips and tricks, and all sorts of beautiful metaphysical, philosophical conversations that will arise here tonight. My name is Brendon, mysticspiderman, skullbabylon. Super honored to be able to have everybody here. Go ahead and leave some comments of hype down in the YouTube chat. Let us know that you are tuned in and things are coming through loud and clear. And we're going to get right into things as we just quickly go through a couple introductions and just, of course, take a moment here to be able to acknowledge all of the fellow amazing leading members that we have on air with us. So fellow leading members, just inviting you guys to not unmute, but just go ahead and gently wave to the camera as we just welcome everybody here tonight. So hi everyone, hi on behalf of myself and the fellow leading members. Normally you'd hear them, but I don't have my headphones today, so we don't want the feedback coming through. But with that said, we're gonna get things rolling just by going over a couple introduction things at the top of the broadcast. Again, this Paradigm Shift Central Team podcast, we do this every Thursday at 8 p.m. EDT. And with this podcast is another awesome opportunity for us to be able to practice coming together to choose to be able to help people choose to be the change that they wish to see in the world through personal development, through exploring metaphysical topics. And if you haven't already yet, be sure to connect into our Discord server. Through there, you can find other conscious community events. And I do just want to take a moment here to be able to invite people to our Paradigm Shift Central Circles, which are non-recorded, voice-only conscious discussion happening Monday to Friday at 1 p.m. EDT. So if you're one of the people that is mostly just listening to our podcast format, then make sure that you join into the Discord so you can join in for those circles and lots of other things happening within the community. So again, just giving a quick little introduction to some of the people who we have with us in the circle tonight. And then from there, we'll just go into a quick little meditation. And then from there, we'll get right into discussion. I think we're going to keep tonight's broadcast fairly short as well. Like within 2 hours is going to be kind of like the target frame. And if the frame rate or anything, if the audio is out of sync, I'm aware of that. We'll fix it as we go. And if the buffer rate or the lag or something is a little bit there, it's because we're on different internet, but we're trying it out. So with that said, just going to do a quick introduction. Again, my name is Brendon, Mystic Spider-Man. Most of you guys know me. From my top to left, we have Kaci. So give a nice warm welcome to Kaci. Thank you, Kaci, for joining us. And we've got Carley as well. So thank you again, Carley, for joining in. And we've also got Kelly. Welcome back, Kelly. Thank you so much for being here. And we've got Kristen and Baby Yoda as well. Thank you, Kristen and Baby Yoda, for being here. And we've got Becca back once again. So thank you, Becca, as well, for being here. So again, if you haven't already yet, make sure you check out all the links in the info for this video to connect to the Discord. And if you're looking to be able to connect further with the team, definitely take a look at the Patreon where you can learn about becoming a leading member, join on air for our team podcast, plus lots of other awesome things in the community and exclusive events. And yeah, tonight's broadcast is featuring our leading members, so make sure that you connect into their profiles, and their links will be posted in the YouTube chat and in the info for this video afterwards as well. And we may be having some people joining us, and of course I can't go through introducing everyone without introducing the person sitting on my left as I give her a second to just be able to get queued up. Can I say hi to you, Lacey? Oh, yeah. Look, it's Lacey. There's Lacey. Lacey's here too, so cool. Beautiful. All right, so Lacey and I will be broadcasting together from our studio, and yeah, let's get right into a quick little meditation. And thank you again, everyone, so much. Please feel free to share this with your friends, invite a few people, and let's have some fun tonight exploring the ever exciting topic of dreams. And I'm excited to be able to hear some new dream stories and just see where spirit guides us through this discussion. So with that said, just inviting everyone to just do a quick little meditation as we just drop into our heart space. So just take a moment here when you're ready. And this is something that, again, we just kind of do regularly with our podcast to just be able to bring us into that heart-mind coherence as we move through this discussion. Just take a few moments here to be able to connect with your breath. Soft, gentle inhales. And soft, gentle exhales. Just allowing yourself to adjust your posture if you wish. And just taking a moment to be able to connect with gratitude. Gratitude for being here, for listening, for sharing in this passion of the topic of dreams. Gratitude for the community, for the space. We'll just visualize everybody just kind of sitting in a circle here to be able to practice sharing from our hearts. Just take a moment here to be able to just look around this circle, including all the people listening in the future and in the YouTube right now. and just holding gratitude in our hearts for each other, for being a part of this discussion, for having this discussion as the dream waking up to itself. And so just take a few moments here. I'm just going to stop talking. Just allow yourself to just be in this moment of oneness and just feel this love, feel this vibration of community, and let it just fill your heart. So just take a moment here within your own silence, and then we'll gently come back. Nice deep breaths. Beautiful. Just feeling the magic of the dream percolating through the vibe of tonight's discussion. So just holding this gratitude in our hearts, just expressing that to all the people here, and leaving some comments in the YouTube afterwards of any blessings you have for the community. And from here, we'll gently transition into concluding this little meditation as we carry this vibration with us throughout tonight's discussion. So keeping this image within our hearts, within our minds, holding space for the excitement and inspiration of tonight's topic. And slowly, when you're ready, gently bringing your awareness back to your physical body as you wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and gently open your eyes and return your awareness to the space around you. So beautiful. Wonderful. All right. So with that said, let's get right into tonight's topic. Okay. All right. Paradigm Shift Dream Class. This is a beautiful discussion that we do every once in a while here within the Paradigm Shift Central community, really designed to be able to help create accountability for our individual dream practices. Each and every single person here is a dreamer. Simply by being human, you are a dreamer, but it really depends on how much attention you are giving to that practice, which is something that simply by us talking about it, we hope it inspires more people to just be able to feel the inspiration of other people who may be actively involved in their dream practices, who may be just starting out, who may be curious. Wherever you are on your path, it's never too late to be able to start focusing on a little bit more of your attention towards dreams. And we're going to go around the circle, just be able to let people introduce themselves and even just be able to reflect on the question of why dreaming is important to them. And as we go through, we will have the opportunity for people to be able to share some stories. So we'll see if we can just kind of even just go around the circle real quick once. And then from there, we'll open up the space for any new stories, any new dream experiences. So for me, real quick, I'll just share, and then whoever would want to go after me next, just go ahead and gently raise your hand here within the Zoom camera, and I'll pass it over to that person next. So if you guys can just kind of let me know ahead of time who would like to be able to go next, we can always pass it over to Kristen. Thank you, Kristen. So for me, again, this topic is really important because I feel the topic of dreams really goes hand in hand with the shift in consciousness. You can't talk about dreams without it evidently kind of opening you up to this idea that we are multidimensional beings by nature. And when we talk about this shift in consciousness, a big part of it, at least from my perspective, is more people realizing and experiencing that they are multidimensional beings. And what does it mean to be a multidimensional being? Within the dream practice, it's one of the most immediate ways that we can experience this firsthand. We can literally experience the astral body going into these other realms when we sleep, the astral realms. Call them what you will. There's a few different names. And within these realms, to me, it's incredibly powerful because I've kind of talked about this before, and I usually mention in every podcast where I feel that these realms are almost closer to the place from where we come from. And what I mean by that is that within these realms, there's like less density, there's less laws in a sense, but there's this almost instantaneous ability to kind of create. And dreams themselves, they're like this beautiful mirror that helps us see more into our soul. But at the same time, the mystery of the dreams, and we'll explore this tonight, is the idea of, how much of the dreams are just something that's just like a reflection of what we did during the day, or a reflection of repressed emotions or something inside of ourselves. But at the same time, it seems that dreams can also become this shared space where other forms of conscious intelligence can actually reach out to us, can actually communicate to us. When we dream, it's not a localized thing. It's actually connecting into this almost decentralized web, this place where other conscious awarenesses can enter into as well and can communicate with us. And this is where we start getting into dreams that again, involve like guides, OUs, extraterrestrials, other us's, like past and present and future versions of ancestors and even ourselves, and being able to see like our past life. So and our future life and the multi-parallel reality versions of our life. So like I'll just say this real quick and then I'll pass it over to Kristen, and then anybody else will just keep going. And again, just kind of on the topic of like, why is this important to us? Why are dreams so important to us? Why do we want to talk about this? And a little bit about your own experience. To me, I am fascinated with the idea that, especially with, sharing conversations with Lacey and hearing some of her dream experiences, which I'm grateful to be able to hold space for tonight, where I see what is happening within a dream space in some cases where it's literally like a parallel experience where, yes, what is happening here within this physical dimension is important and it's a part of the shift in consciousness, but like there's other things that are happening in these other aspects of the dream space where it's like there's a story that's unfolding, and that's a very personal story to us individually, and then when we collectively kind of bring our stories together, it's a very powerful mystery to kind of sit with. And I feel that through the process of paying attention to our dreams, it really gives us the gateway, the door, the portal, the opportunity to be able to connect with what it means to be a multidimensional being and see bigger parts of ourselves, the cosmic self, the cosmic citizen. I feel that it's like a stargate to a bigger version and a bigger understanding of who we are. We are not just these small little flesh beings. Our body is literally like designed to dream, and then through dreaming we actually kind of like reconnect with this like infinite ocean of source energy, and it's like reconnecting with like a very powerful part of who we are. Anyways, there's a lot I could talk about. I don't want to get too far just like babbling on right now, and we'll just keep things rolling. And again, this is a space to be able to practice talking about these topics. So Kristen, we'll pass over to you, and then who wants to go next? And even Lacey, if you want to raise your hand and go next, you're more than welcome to anytime. So Kristen and maybe Lacey after that, unless anybody else wanted to jump in real quick. And and then we'll go through real quick, and then we'll kind of get to the stories afterwards. So thank you again, everyone, for joining. And by us being here, this is us documenting the shift in consciousness. We're not just talking about dreams, but by sharing stories, we're like logging the experiences together and keeping track of this like bigger cosmic journey that we're weaving together. So with that said, I will pass it over to Kristen. So let's give a nice warm welcome to Kristen. And Kristen, when you're ready, briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about why dreaming and dream practices is important to you, and a little bit of your relationship with it. Welcome, Kristen.
Awesome. Thank you, Brendon. And hello, everybody. It's so lovely to see all of your beautiful faces. My name's Kristen, pinoakrising on TikTok and YouTube, Instagram. I always love these dream classes. I always appreciate the stories that we share and just the many different opportunities to be able to create expression and understanding around the beautiful nature that dreams do bring to our awareness. And so for me, dreams have always been something that I've been kind of fascinated with because I've just always remembered my dreams. And so I just really encourage you, if you are someone who is like interested in dreams and wanting to know more about them, to just allow yourself to play and practice different ways of being able to delve into the different dimensions within the dream space and all the different things you can do. It's a great way to understand your own mind better, your own physical reality better. A lot of your subconscious mind does speak through the dream space as well. And so there's a lot of beautiful opportunities in this place when our body is resting for us to be able to gain more wisdom about what's going on within our minds and consciousness. And there's just lots of abilities to be able to connect with lots of different channeling opportunities, and like people experience many different types of dreams. Like some people do more of like dream work, some people are more like channeling messages. There's a lot of different roles that can be played within the dream space, and so it's just kind of exciting to be able to explore those and share those. And this is a topic I could go on about, but I'm really excited to hear from everybody else, so I'm going to pass the talking stick to Lacey and hear some of her beautiful wisdom. And I'm looking forward to this topic tonight.
Thank you so much, Kristen. And with that said, we will pass it over to Lacey. And who wants to go after Lacey? Again, just quickly raise your hand and we'll pass it over to you when you feel ready to do so. So pass over to Becca after Lacey. So let's give a nice warm welcome to Lacey. Lacey, go right ahead.
Hey everyone, I'm happy to join in tonight, and I love dream discussion and dream council. We're all meeting, we're a council. So dreaming for me is probably one of my favorite practices to do, alongside many others, but I've always, as most of everyone that's in the group tonight already knows, that I've been an avid dreamer for 16 years, documenting the realms. I would say it's important because it helps us get to know ourselves better on this plane. Definitely for me, I find that dreams are direct access to living out the hero's journey. So we get to see ourselves in roles that we might not normally get to see ourselves in our daily lives. So the warrior, the mother, perhaps, and so on. So I think, this topic is huge, and I just think everyone should be really diving into our inner worlds, because they are portals to the beyond, the cosmic. So, and I have some really cool stories to share tonight for sure. Some pretty dope dreams I've had lately. It's been really potent. So yeah, I don't know, I could go on with this topic. It's really awesome. So I'm happy to be here and share and be inspired by all of you, because I just love seeing what everyone's up to in the astral. So
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you, Lacey. And you'll hear more about it as we go. Some of you have already heard about it. Not only is Lacey, again, like an avid dreamer, but there's also like the community that she's working on. So if you're interested in like more dream discussions beyond just dream class, make sure you're connected with Lacey, and there's going to be more of a schedule for like future, even just like non-recorded dream discussions. And we've been talking about helping create that space for that. So if you're inspired by what Lacey shares tonight, make sure you connect with her and all the other creators here. And just keep an eye open, and whether you're joining in now or later, the options will be there through her Patreon. So cool. Okay, so let's keep things going along. And Becca, we can pass it over to you when you are ready. So welcome, Becca, and please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about why dreams are important to you, your relationship with them, anything you'd like to share. Welcome, Becca.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you, Brendon, and everybody that shared so far. This is my first time in the live of a dream class, so I'm excited to share and listen and hear what everybody's got to say. When I talk about dreams, the thing that sticks out to me is that, as adults, we don't have many opportunities to let our imagination thrive, and in the dream space is, the perfect place for that to happen. I can plan entire days in my dream of like what's going to happen, what I want to do, it just in my dream, what I want to wear. So like even that fact in itself is magical, being able to control what happens in the dream. And I know that not everybody can do that, so that is one thing that I'm interested in discussing today, and get everybody else's take on that. Also, I just wanted to mention like how connected to our emotions our dreams really are, and it gives us a chance to check in with ourselves, and just see what there is that we need to work on or discover within ourselves. And I've got a pretty cool story to share about that later on in this discussion. But yeah, thanks for letting me speak, and I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone has to say.
Thank you, Becca, so much. With that said, we'll keep passing the talking. Stick around. Carley, Kaci, Kelly, who would like to go next? when you're ready, if you feel called. Pass over to Kelly next. Kelly, go right ahead and welcome.
Hi all. Yeah, that's dream class. I talked about grabbing your phone and recording a video so you can get the dream down before you forget it. I definitely recommend writing them down even if they don't make sense, because if you go back and you listen to it or you read it later, maybe months later, you can start to see the way the messages are coming to you. Like you could. So if you do that with everything, then you can start to get the meaning of it sooner rather than having to, oh, well, that's great now that I know, you know. So I wanted to recommend that, recording it, even if it's not fun, because it's so worth it. You can learn more about yourself and so many dream stories, but I have a good one for when it's time.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. And with that said, we'll keep things moving along. And Carley, Kaci, if one of you wants to go next, feel free. Kaci, we'll pass over to you. And then Carley, if you're ready after that, we can pass over to you. Go ahead, Kaci, welcome.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Kaci, or I go by Lunar as well. You can find me on Lunar Moods, different social platforms that I have. Everybody's kind of been like echoing, saying that. But yeah, I see it as time travel as well. And what Kelly was saying, like you can go back and be like, oh my gosh, I went to that place. I have a really good story that I can share a little bit on. That was kind of a time travel thing and preparing me for the future and preparing me for like a day that was terrible, but it wasn't really terrible because I was able to see like, oh, that wasn't really a deja vu. And deja vus are very helpful as well, and kind of getting you grounded and be like, hey, I had a deja vu, I'm on the right path. So I see it as that aspect as well. So yeah, I'm excited to hear everybody's stories, and dream talk is so amazing and so cool to just reflect from and hear what everybody has to say.
Thank you, Kaci. And with every dream class, you know, again, we keep in mind that there are people tuning in who may be quite new to the discussion, to the practice of dreams. So for any of you on air, if there's, again, particular tips and things that you've learned and that you want to be able to pass on, please feel free to do that. Again, you know, some of the basic things for everybody here, if you are brand new to it, definitely keeping a dream journal is so important. Again, that's literally like flexing the muscle. And if you're literally just like, well, I don't remember my dreams, but even if you have the dream journal and just have it there, it will actually help evoke like the recall process. And it might start off small. Again, you know, it's like lifting weights. You start off with small weights. You take a little bit at a time, but eventually it grows and grows and grows. But a big thing, and I'll just say this, and we'll get more into the tips and tricks, it'll just be kind of sprinkled throughout, is so much to do with just the intention and like holding the curiosity. Like I think if you are literally telling the universe, like, hey universe, like I'm interested in dreams, like I'm interested in studying my dreams and hearing people talk about dreams and learning more about what the community is doing and everything, then the universe is like, oh sweet, like here, like let us kind of like send you a little bit more to be able to work with. And one of the things that I'm fascinated by is the idea that, you know, relatively speaking, like we receive the dreams we are ready for. So it's very much kind of like a vibrational thing. And as we change, the dreams we receive change. So if you're just kind of going about things with a nonchalant kind of I don't care about dreams attitude, then the dreams are probably just gonna be like, okay, yeah, sure, we won't send you anything too crazy fantastical. You will still probably get like every now and then, like sometimes what can happen is people are almost like in this like mundane kind of like meh, whatever, life is life, and it's almost like they're under the spell of the matrix or whatever you want to call it, and every now and then, you know, even in those circumstances, the universe might be like, hey, you know what, like remember when Billy told us to like help wake him up when he turned 25 if he was still asleep? Let's send that epic dream. And then like he'll wake up next morning and be like, what the frick was that? Like you know, it might be like a lucid dream, like spontaneous lucid dreams, right? This happens. Different dreams come to people at different times, but it's kind of like this idea of, you know, knowing that they come for a reason, and then like the curiosity of like, well, why did this one come to me now? So as much as it's like, oh, you'll probably get a crazy one now and then, it's like, what happens if we develop an intention where those quote unquote crazy dreams are happening once a week, and maybe they start happening 2 or 3 times a week, and then from there, you know, you kind of like build up this momentum. So I think with dreams, it really is the consistency is the key, and then from there, it again kind of like builds upon itself. Sorry, I kind of got into like all sorts of things I'm excited about. Carley, we'll pass it over to you, and then we'll get more into the chit chat as we go. So Carley, when you're ready, welcome, and go right ahead.
Yes, that was beautiful. I feel like everything everyone has said has been great. As always, I feel like Lacey said, we always are learning from each other, and there's always so many beautiful things said. So I'm really happy to be here. I'm cosmicallycarley on Instagram, and I am just happy to be here. Dreams are big for me. That's always kind of where I recenter myself at night, kind of get your headspace out of the crazy day and just relax, and go to bed with gratitude. Whatever you have to do your gratitude list, but just get yourself into a good headspace as you go to bed. Be grateful for having a space to sleep, your pillows, your sheets, change your sheets, fresh sheets. There's nothing better right before you go to bed. So like, just make your space a sacred space to sleep. Do something, turn off your computers and your devices and everything you can, and really try to get into that calm, centered place of no lights. Get that circadian rhythm in check, and just kind of like Brendon said, the intention, set the intention of, I want to remember my dreams. I trust that the higher spirit is going to bring me the messages I need to hear tonight. And my dreams are always epic, about like saving the world, a big group of people. It's always all of us. I just realized that like a couple weeks ago, and it was really mind blowing during Micah's meditation, one of the nest meditations. I was like, oh my God, it's always been you guys. Holy freaking crap. Like, wow. But it's always like some government facility. They're trying to do some weird testing on human subjects. We're like stuck in this like crazy situation. There's always a bunch of stairs, bunch of secret passageways. It's like literally a government testing facility. So we're all trying to get out of there. We all have different groups of people that we're leading, and we're trying to get all of these people out safely. So it's like kind of like how we're set up in this light grid of, we're here in different places to do this work, to share our light, to do all this. And we're leading people out. We're trying to herd people up, get them to wake up, and lead them out of this like government facility of testing grounds and hypnosis, and break the spell. So I'm like, oh my God, dreams are freaking crazy. And no wonder I keep on having these same recurring dreams for the last literally 10 years. Like, oh, it all makes sense now. Like, I have journals full of, I don't always write them down, but when I do, they're all very similarly themed. And so that's when I start realizing, and I just tell people about them now. I'll just randomly message people. So I did have one with Brendon and Kristen where it was like a bunch of my ex-boyfriends and people from my past, and like a bunch of stressful situations. And we went outside, and you guys taught me how to bring plants back to life. It was like those ferns where you touch them and they unfurl and open up. We just kind of dragged our hands across and brought like all these plants back to life. And you guys were like, it's that simple. You can do this in real life. And I was like, God, I love you people. Thank you. Like, just the night I needed to hear it too. It was like some crazy day. That dream, I woke up, I was like, everything's great. The universe has my back. Like, look at these synchronistic messages. Like, listen, Carley, shit's okay. It's fine. So that's what I got. Thank you guys. Happy to be here. I'll mute myself if I can.
Thank you. Thank you, Carley. Yeah. And just you telling the stories there, like a little pinch of some of the stories, Lacey and I just kind of look at each other and we're just like it's like so much, like, yeah, I mean, Lacey is like, like my dreaming is not as consistent as hers, and I take full responsibility for that. But like, I've definitely had those share of dreams where it's like us as like some sort of like resistance, and like we're getting chased by government and they're trying to inject us with something, and we have to like sneak through underground tunnels. And I've had those like 100%, right? So it's like I'll just kind of say here, because I think some dreams, it's like they're like a full-on parallel reality, and it's like an actual place, and it's like a thing that's happening, and you're going to places that like you could almost go back to. And then you get other dreams that are almost like simulations. You know, it's like a one-off type thing where it's kind of like you're watching a movie that's kind of been created, but you're in the movie, right? And then it always gets interesting to me because I'm like, who's directing these movies? Like who's writing these scripts, right? Like there's like, oh, this is like, for me, this is where I really start being like, whoa, you know, I can like feel something like my brain like gets tickly when I think of this idea that there's like other degrees of consciousness, and their role is to actually be curators for our dream. Like they're literally our guides, our higher dimensional selves, and they're like, okay, like, yes, like our brothers and sisters down on the earth plane, okay, oh yeah, like they're starting to wake up, like, all right, let's like create, it's like their art. Like our art we create with like music and painting and stuff like that. Their art, they create freaking stories that can be lived. And this is where it almost becomes like, that's where I look at dreams and I'm like, wait a second, like I don't think this is just like airy fairy metaphysical craziness. Like to me, I'm like, this seems like a technology with like an input and an output, and like there's like a logic to what's happening here. And yes, sometimes it's coming up from within a reflection of our inside, but I definitely feel that at times it's like there's sometimes very clearly, like not even subtle, like very clearly other intelligences and consciousness, and whether it's them coming through in the form of another being, or it's like literally them almost like explicitly coming through and they're just like, hey, this is what's up. You're on a mission to save the world. Don't forget, like I'm coming through your dream space because I'm here to tell you. And it's not just you, it's all of us. And I feel like that's why like so many of us have these like common dreams of kind of like these archetypes of, again, you know, kind of like what Lacey was saying. I feel like in a lot of cases when we're tapped in with our dreams, it's like our dreams are there to help awaken the hero inside of us in a lot of ways. And I really feel like that. And especially looking back on 5 years and now where we are now, and it's just like, wow. And again, especially, I'll pass it over to Lacey in a second if she's ready. Lacey has always had incredibly beautiful dreams, but like some of the dreams that you have been having like recently, like I'm just like, holy cow, like this is next level. And to me, I'm like, dude, like these aren't just dreams. Like for me, and I'm only speaking from my perspective, I see Lacey's dreams and I'm like, her dreams are like, if they can happen in Lacey's dream, it's almost like evidence to what is possible, or evidence to like an aspect of reality that is quote unquote real. And I'll let Lacey just kind of, you know, if you're ready to be able to share some stories, and then from there, anybody else who would like to be able to practice sharing some stories, and we'll just kind of practice. We'll focus on stories for a bit, and then we'll sprinkle in some more theories and chit chat and tips and tricks as we go. If you guys are in the YouTube chat and you're having fun, drop some 1111s in the chat, show some gratitude, and keep having the conversation in the chat as well. We'll see you guys there. Lacey, do you want to share a story? It's maybe whatever you feel called.
I mean, I have a couple I could share. I don't want to take the mic too
much,
but
one now, one later. You know, like I know we got a few, and
there's a couple recently. I don't always get to write my dreams down, as fellow mothers will know how hard it is to just write. Just honestly, like just stay in bed in the morning, but just. That's what I usually do. Like when I want to recall, I'll lay there for a bit with my eyes shut and like go back in time. And I kind of start from the end and kind of make my way back and see how far back I can go, because there's sometimes it's like you only remember just like a little bit of the dream. Like recently, a couple nights ago, I had a lucid dream, and I've been having those a lot more lately. And I do practice astral projection and lucid dreaming, but it's not like I do it all the time, right? But this one was kind of brief, but I was running through a labyrinth, and it was weird. It was very MC Escher. It was like light and dark, and they were like merging, and there was a woman and she was cloaked. She kind of had this hood on, and I couldn't see her face, but she was all in black. And I was chasing her through this landscape, and I wasn't lucid yet, but I was running after her, and I didn't know why I was running after her, but I was like, I have to catch up to her. It was very much like a cat and mouse, you know? And so I finally caught up to her at this junction, it was so, I can't even explain the scenery. Like it was just so beyond my comprehension. but it was like bleeding into each other. And then in the moment I was like, I'm dreaming, right? Like I came to my lucidity and I was like, whoa, okay. And lately it's been easy to transition, which is kind of fun. I'm not like getting that adrenaline rush where I'm like, oh shit, I'm waking up. But I was able to just naturally just get into it. This was only a tiny dream. Like I don't remember much outside of it. But in the moment I knew that I was dreaming, and then I was like, okay. And then I just put my hands out, and then I don't even know, I like willed the environment, and it went, and it like folded out. I can't even explain it. But all the shadow like parted, and then I was walking on like through the clouds. So I was in the sky, and then I saw a grid pattern that was just covering everything. But that was just a couple nights ago, but it was brief. It was just a tiny dream. But I was like, I woke up like, damn, that I felt good. I felt powerful in that moment. I shifted the environment just to where my heart wanted to be, and it was just like, there was like this pureness and this like this lightness. Part of me wonders if the woman was an aspect of myself. So I started to kind of dig deep into like my own psyche, and you know, I'm always doing the work, and dream time is like my greatest teacher. I definitely get to learn so much about my shadow self in dream time. And you know, I'm a human being and I'm not perfect, and I'm dealing with stuff on a daily basis and trauma and all of that kind of stuff. So I was like, like, did I defeat and something inside of me that night? I don't know. More dreams to come. But yeah, so that was brief. Can I get into the next dream?
Oh, like that one?
Yeah. Sorry, that was just a couple nights ago.
I was gonna say, even in that one though, like you said you like saw the grid in that
I
one
did.
too.
It was green, and
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a lot of psychedelics, and I've seen it
in person.
But I mean, this was different. I don't know. It was like, yeah, it was below. So I was on top. There was like this see-through platform. Like I was walking on something, but I couldn't see it. And then below it, like the world below me was like grid.
Yeah.
And I could see it, and it was pulsating. I don't know. Anyways, the sounds I'm making.
That's what it looks like. It looks like. So yeah. Is the other one? Is it the Void Hawk dream?
It's not the Void Hawk dream.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, oh, that epic dream or the other epic dream. Like,
well, the Void Hawk one I did mention in like the Discord.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Whatever. Okay, one more from Lacey, and then we'll pass it around. And then
I want to share this one though.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got more to share, so we'll do one more now, and then pass it around.
I want to share this one.
Go ahead.
But the Void Hawk, I'll just plug it.
You can talk more about it later. Like,
okay,
it's worth sharing. Yeah,
I'll talk about it later then.
Yeah.
Because that's
stick around. Don't miss. Some of you will remember Lacey talking about the Void Hawk like months ago.
Well, the Void Hawk is just something that is a reoccurring guide thing that comes into my dream time. That is a sentient being, but it's a ship. It's not like a human being. It's actually like a living UFO
craft. Yeah, multidimensional craft.
And and her name's Kira, and I named her, and we're like connected. Yeah. Anyways,
you'll hear about it.
I'll tell you about it later.
One more awesome dream, and then who wants to go after Lacey, just so we can figure out our order? Just go ahead and gently raise your hand. Kristen, we can pass it with you, and Robert as well. Welcome, Robert. So. Go ahead and thank you everyone so much for the love in the YouTube. If you guys are having fun, show that love. Go ahead, Lacey. Okay, so in this dream, as far back as I can remember, is another labyrinth type of situation, and I've been dreaming that a lot lately. Carley, is her name Carley? She's talking about like facilities and like very much like these weird industrialized like buildings. So I was in that again, but this time I'm not even sure who gave me the letter, but someone handed me a letter. And so I'm like, okay. And I'm like reading it, and I'm walking down this hallway, and it's kind of like reminded me of like an office building, something like that. And I don't even know what was on the letter, but I just kind of followed my heart through these corridors. And then I get to this doorway, and I go through, and
it's just a black void. It's a black space. And I enter the room, and then I see a red pulsating light on the other side of the room. And it's going boom, boom, and it's making a sound. And it kind of seemed like a distress call or a beacon, something like that. But I didn't know what it was. But when the light would like, I could see this like hexagonal shaped thing just sitting in the void. And so I was like, oh, that's weird. And then suddenly there was like this shift in gravity or energy in the room. And there was like this magnetism coming from it. And it pulled me across the floor. And I was just like, oh, I'm going in. I don't know what's happening. And then it sucked me up inside of it. And now it's going to get it gets weird. So I wrote this one down. So where am I? This was the beginning of it. So I'm sucked inside the ship. The ship is just big enough to fit a few people. There's no buttons or control system, no way to fly it or steer it. Suddenly I am blasted off into the unknown quite instantly. It's like I blinked my eyes and suddenly I was like, we were just moving. I see planets being birthed before my very eyes, the warping of the fabric of space and time. I witnessed these beings. So I was in my ship, and then I could see 360, like I could see all around me. And then to my left, there was like a observation deck thing with these beings there, and they were studying a black hole. So there was a black hole there. And so I was only there for a second, and then my ship went boom, and I was flying faster that way. I was just going. I'm now flying over infinite fractals that go on forever, all connected, bleeding out throughout the universe. At times I'm flying through the fractals, through tunnels that connect to other tunnels, and then I'm flying high above them, watching them grow, shrink, and morph. Everything is connected to the Mandelbrot. The Mandelbrot is a highway, and you can go anywhere in the cosmos through it. And the trippy part is I could manipulate the Mandelbrot with my mind. So if I wanted to go to the right, I could create a new bridge and like, oh, I'm gonna go that way, and then I'd fly that way. It was really intense and cool. So I think to myself during this time, I was having an internal dialogue. I was like, who made this? It wasn't a man. Was it like AI? Was it, I started like, what the fuck? Like, who made this? Excuse my language. Anyways, and then, suddenly a child appears across from me, a young kid. They grab a hold of me and they start hugging me really tight. And then suddenly we teleport. We're teleporting to another alternate timeline, a life that is not my own, but is mine in some strange way. But I saw my dad there, but he wasn't my dad. It was so weird. It was like, and there was people that were like people here, but they were kind of like a little bit different. So it was weird. So I'm there for quite some time. I live out my life there. Like, I'm talking, I was there for a while. So together, me and this child, we have unique abilities. We master astral projection there and teleportation. We begin to train others in there. So we form like this secret little society of like other astral projection. And the crazy part is I was like, I'm astral projecting right now. Like I kept telling, and there was other kids, there was like these groups of kids. So we were training the children. It got trippy. Where are we? Oh yeah, and then I tell them that dreams are teleportation devices, that they are quite literally time traveling tools. Strange, mysterious, cloaked figures begin to catch on to what we're up to and begin infiltrating the timeline. So it gets really like far out sci-fi at this point. Like once they realize that we've astral projected there, I don't know if we were fucking with time or something, but like they would pop up and they were trying to like get us. So we told our little group of people, our little council, we're like, we gotta go. Like, we're out, we gotta leave. So we're out of here. And they were like, don't leave, but we had to leave. So at one point, little kid, who I ended up calling Indra, I gave them a name. They were like gender neutral. I honestly don't know if it was a girl or a boy, but it was just like this little kid. Was it you that said maybe it was like an alien or something? Anyways.
Could have been.
I don't know.
Yeah, like
they look like a kid. Disguising as a kid.
Presenting itself as whatever, yeah.
So I called them Indra. At this point, we leave the timeline, and I'm now back in the ship. I'm hovering in the craft, and I see the child like exit the ship, like they're like they float out of it. But part of me was like, are they in their own ship? I don't know, but they left me and they like flew. But as they were flying, I saw them connect into the net, what the universe is created with. There's all these points, and they went inside of it. Mm-hmm. They were gone. I'm catapulted now back to the space station, but this time I'm on it. I'm witnessing the birth of a universe. Someone leans over and whispers to someone else. They're like having conversations, and they're observing it. And it's so weird. It's like there's like this black hole, and then like I'm looking into it, and then I see layered realities, and then it goes boop, and it like clumped, and then it slingshots it and like flings the universe out into this like I can't even explain it. Like, I do my best to try to explain it, but like it was almost unfathomable. Like, you're like, what is that?
Yeah, they just like created a universe, and they were like
but they were like observing the nature of creation.
Yeah, they were like creator level beings that would create like entire.
And I wasn't supposed to be there though, because
you walked into the wrong room.
I don't know. I showed up there.
You did not have the.
This happens a lot in Dreamtime where I'm like,
I'm not supposed to be here.
I don't know if I should be here right now. This seems like above
like
my pay grade.
Secret.
I don't know.
Super above top secret.
Yeah, but it kind of gets foggy after that. Like, I know I was on the space station for a bit. More things happened, but it was like there was so much to it that I couldn't even write it all down. I was like, I don't even know how to articulate this. But yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, and I know like it was excited. It was really interesting because when you were talking about that, I'm like, wait, so like you had this other life, like with the child and the other people that you're with, and like I'm like, did it feel like you were there for a while? And you said you're like, yeah, like it felt like
a couple of years. Yeah.
In the dream you had, it felt like you were there for a couple of years.
I had another partner. Like, I lived there.
Literally like a whole other like, and that's the thing, right? Like it's within dream space, like time, you can enter into like different aspects of time. So it's like, yeah, there is a possibility that like some dreams you go in, it's like, wow, that felt like 5 hours, and then it's like sometimes it's just like, I lived an entire lifetime.
I don't know if anyone else here has that, but there's sometimes in my dream time I step out of time, or I'm like really far into the future, or I'm traveling back in time. Like, I've had a dream where we were back in like maybe the 1600s or something,
right?
Doing like this weird Viking ritual thing, which was really cool.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Lacey, thank you so much for sharing. I know there's lots to be able to talk about, and we'll pass the talk and stick around, and again, we'll just keep the stories coming. And we'll just kind of keep flowing from there. We're going to aim to wrap up this broadcast no later than 10:30. So for everybody here, we'll just be mindful of that. And we'll try to keep it short and sweet tonight. And again, if you're looking for more like dream discussions like with Lacey and the community that she's building, definitely check her out on Instagram at thepaperdruid. And also she has a Patreon where you can join there. So Lacey, thank you for sharing. That was super awesome. Did you guys enjoy Lacey's crazy freaking dreams? I mean, we all got crazy dreams. I mean, again,
I'm excited to hear what everyone's dreaming.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like the fact that like your dreams, you have dreams on that level, I know for me, it inspires me, and I hope it inspires other people to just be like, whoa, like that's possible.
Can
You
I
know?
say something?
Sure. Yeah. Go for it. And then
Okay.
we'll pass it over.
So I'm hoping to actually start writing. Like I dream and it's just kind of happening, but like I don't know if it helps that I'm like an avid reader anyways. Like I read a lot, and I'm also a huge sci-fi fan, and I love Star Trek. So that dream actually reminded me a lot of Star Trek. So maybe it helps me access that more because I'm already, I guess, immersing myself in just like that imagination, you know. Arthur C. Clarke is my favorite, so 2001 Space Odyssey, so it makes sense that I would be. Yeah.
And I will just say, like, within that dream, the idea of like entering into like this like multi-dimensional intergalactic hyper highway that's like Mandelbrot tunnels and fractals, like, yeah, like that's something that, again, like that exists. Like that's not just like something she just made it up. Like that's like actually a thing, and other people could experience that too. So like when throughout our dreams, like that's the thing that really gets me, when we start finding these like common places and abilities and experiences. It's just like, whoa, like that information we start piecing together, and we start building this picture of like what we can access within the dream space. So like imagine in 15 years from now, or imagine another civilization that was like super consciously aware, and every time they dreamed, they could like immediately, you know, be able to like access into these abilities, go to other places, do work, communicate, learn, grow, love. Like it's freaking crazy, man. Like it boggles. One more thing, Lacey, and then we'll pass it over.
Going back to that, like I believe that like Arthur C. Clarke and a lot of like Isaac Asimov, like all these really amazing sci-fi, they're actually dreamers, and so a lot of their inspiration comes from, I think, the Akashic, or like what's already happening out there, and they just have direct access to it. I don't think they explicitly say that, but like to me, when I read it, I'm like, this is a dreamer. Like this person's been dreaming, and like, you know, and they're inventors too. They like bring back, like, you know, a lot of these writers were writing back in like the 1920s and 30s, which was way before anyone could even fathom. And they've even predicted, like Arthur C. Clarke predicted stuff that's going on currently with technology and everything. So
yeah,
we all have access to that. We're all dreamers, and we all can access the great computer.
Yeah, and that's and last thing, and we'll pass over to Kristen, is that's where, again, you know, like through us doing these dream classes and the discussion, that's for me, like within my soul, I'm like, these are so important, because I feel like this is like leading the edge of our evolution as human species. These type of discussions, not just this one, this like whole concept that's happening all across the grid. But again, you know, it's just like when we start focusing more on our dreams, it gives us the ability to be able to like receive these gems, receive this insight, receive this foresight, receive this inspiration. It's like literally like accessing like this ability to kind of like, it's like time transference of data and information. And yeah, it's so freaking mind-blowing and beautiful and cool and psychedelic, and I absolutely love it. And I'm so grateful that dreams actually are a thing in this reality. Yes. And let's keep talking about it some more. So Kristen, we'll pass over to you. Who wants to go after Kristen? Just go ahead and give me we can pass over to Kaci, and then we'll pass over to Johnny or Becca. You need to leave early, don't you? So Becca, we'll pass over to Becca after Kristen. And then Kaci, and then Johnny, will pass over to you as well. So Kristen, when you're ready, go right ahead. And thank you again, everyone, for your patience. I know we were sharing a lot there, so get excited. Kristen, go ahead when you're ready.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much for the share, Lacey and Brendon. I always so appreciate. I'm actually really grateful that you mentioned the Mandelbrot. Is that what you called it? The highway, essentially? Because I've experienced it, but I've never heard anybody be able to describe it in physical words in the way that you did. So I really appreciated that. Thank you for sharing and connecting that wisdom. And I wanted to share a beautiful experience that I had lately. I've been kind of going back over my dream logs and kind of noticing patterns within them. And I just happened to be like cleaning out my bedroom, like I have like a keepsake drawer, and I was cleaning it out, going through it, and I found my dream log from when I was 12 years old. And I wanted to share a small dream that I had like recorded. And in this like dream log, I wrote that it ended up being like a prophetic dream. So it was a dream that I had had, and then a few weeks later, the things that I dreamed about came true. And so I just thought it was really fun to be able to like find that from something when I was just 12, not even really like cultivating any awareness around it, but just being able to record it. So like to just encourage you, like even if you're not sure what your dreams mean or what what the stuff is going on, any kind of like recording, writing, the video recording, whatever works for you is super super helpful. And you never know when it's going to come back into your life and it's going to be relevant and helpful. And so the dream that I wrote about was a dream that I had had about a birthday party with a class friend. And like I said, I was 12 years old, and I had just been started, like my parents just started allowing me to actually like go to friends parties that were boys. And so it was like the first boy party that I went to for a birthday. And so it was like a big deal that I got invited to go. But in the dream, I had the dream that it happened before I had even been invited. And so it was just really interesting to see the actual like dream log of like, I went to Spencer's birthday and we played with pumpkins and played Magic the Gathering and had a great time. We went out and played in the grass before bed, and then I went home, and that was the end of the dream. And then like remembering now back on the birthday party and being like, oh my gosh, I remember playing Magic with my friends when I was 12, and we carved pumpkins, and it was so much fun to be able to like just see the relationship between those. But also I've noticed lately in my dreams, whenever I notice ones that kind of have like a prophetic nature, that it can be kind of riddled with my subconscious. So, what helps me to be able to clear that is actually doing like a journal before I go to bed, where I literally just kind of mind dump everything that's in my brain to be able to clear all of that. And then I'll set an intention for the dream. So, I'll say, I'd like to connect with my higher self tonight and receive any messages, or maybe I want to meet with Amanda and go to Atlantis, or go on the Paradigm Shift Central Spaceship. I don't know, lots of things like, but it's just allowing yourself to play and have fun. And yeah, I've got lots of tips and tricks I want to share, but I really want to let Becca share because I know she's gonna go to bed and I want to hear her dream stories. So thank you guys for letting me share, and I appreciate you all.
Thank you, Kristen, and thank you for being considerate. And I know there's plenty more short stories to be able to share. And with that said, we'll pass it right over to Becca. And Becca, when you're ready, go right ahead.
Thanks, guys. You're all so caring. Yeah, it's like 2:20 in the morning here, but I love staying up with you guys and exploring these different topics, and especially dreams. So yeah, one of the dreams that I wanted to share that I had recently was I mean, I think I already shared it with Kristen the other night, but I was stood in an apartment building, and I was looking out of the window. Here we don't call them apartments, by the way, we call them flats, but hey ho. And I was staring down onto a street where there was houses across the road, and there was a teenage girl stood beside an ambulance, and the ambulance was going off, and I was just staring expressionless at this teenage girl, and the teenage girl was staring back at me. But as I was staring at her, I couldn't see like any facial features or anything. I just knew that she was looking at me, like I could feel that she was we were connecting. And then all of a sudden it switched, and I was the teenager staring up to the window looking at me, and it just kept switching back and forth between the adult version of me and the teenage version of me, just staring at each other. And it's played on my mind for a couple of days, and it's 222 now that I'm speaking about this. I love synchronicities, but it was Kristen that got me like really thinking about it, that it could be me meeting myself from within the timeline, that yeah, I just sat with that for a while, and then I was thinking to myself, how could that be, like, how can it be possible? It's kind of freaky, right? When something like that happens. And yeah, when I thought about it, I thought about what I was like as a teenager. And I can remember being like a rebel, like I didn't really, care what anybody thought, and I didn't really do anything that people expected of me. I did what I wanted to do, and I didn't really give a second thought as to if it made somebody else happy, as long as it made me happy. And I think that the message that was coming through for me within that dream was to take a little bit of that back and bring a little bit of that back. And it's kind of like putting me on my journey. And a lot of my dreams, although sound like fun and I want to be there, they always hold messages, and I often dream when I'm awake as well. Especially recently, I keep having flashes of images just wave across my eyes, like, and I don't even see myself daydreaming. And I know it's a silly one, but I'm going to share it. I was talking to someone, and I don't know what happened. I was just like zoning out. And I all of a sudden got a flash of an image of Rob having a shelf with hats and bandanas, just full of hats and bandanas in his bedroom. And then I told him that I had that image in my head, and he said, I do have a shelf of hats and bandanas. And I was like, what? And then I do it in meditation as well, like in Kristen's inner child meditation. We was meant to be focusing on ourselves, but of course I wasn't. And I actually picked up on Kristen as a child instead, which was very strange. So yeah, just even finding that you have different ways of creating connection with other people through dreams, through visions, and through imagination. And it just shows like the connection that you make with people goes way deeper than just knowing a person for who they are on the outside, and you can actually connect with somebody's soul through dreams. And yeah, that's what I wanted to share. And Kristen, stop looking at me because you're making me laugh. I love you all, and thank you for having me on. I'm going to join you in the comments now. I love you all.
Thank you so much, Becca. Beautiful share. And yeah, again, I love just being able to sit around the campfire and just listen to everybody's stories. And Yeah, we'll keep things rolling along here. I know, Kaci, you had your hand up next. Now, Carley, I know you're stepped away from the camera. Carley, did you want to share a story after Kaci, and then we can pass over to Rob after that? Okay, cool. Okay, so we'll pass over to Kaci next. Becca, thank you again. We'll see you in the YouTube comments. And Kaci, if you are ready, you can go next. And again, we'll just kind of keep going with the flow. And let's just keep an eye on the clock. Again, we're going to wrap things up by about 10:30 today. So Kaci, when you're ready, passing it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, dreams. I could tell them all day. I could go through all of the dreams. We don't have time for that. So recently it's kind of hard for me to recall. It takes a while for me to actually process what happens, and sometimes I do go back to those dreams after a while and kind of psychoanalyze a lot of them. But I want to talk about one that Lacey was kind of talking about, how there's like a government facility that I visited in like 2016. And I remember this very, very like vividly. There's another one that I remember like in 4th grade, and I didn't even write anything down. And I still remember it to this day. And it's so weird to like go back and get myself back into it. But I actually got a quote. I like woke myself up like really fast, and I got like this quote. But how the dream started was, I knew I went to bed and I was not in my bed. I was in someone else's house. I was actually visiting um, a friend, and we were going to a festival. And I think that's kind of what made the dream more vivid. It was weird, but I had special superpowers, and I learned how to fly, and I learned how to help other people just by like flying around, fighting fires or whatever it needed to be done in that town. And the government found out that I had these powers, so they took me to like this secret facility and did tests on me, and they're like, oh, you know too much. So they started deleting or like erasing a lot of my memories, and they sent me back home. And a lot of my family members and friends had to keep it all like hush hush to keep like everything secret and identity. But the brainwashing or the mind wipe did not work properly, and I was able to recall all of that kind of stuff. And like friends and family started disappearing, and I was able to bring them back. It was really, really weird. And I should write my dreams down, but it's really strange. But the quote that came out of it was, I am you and you are me. And it was just the collective of helping people that I can share my superpowers to embrace everything. So that's kind of a short rundown of that dream. A most recent one was actually a couple months ago, and it was prophetic, and I knew it, but it didn't feel like it was like far into the future. I knew it was going to happen a couple days. And I thought that was so strange, because usually all my dreams are from the past or the future. Like Lacey's was talking about how she can figure out like certain eras just by feeling it. But it was me working, and there was like the worst thunderstorm. We were supposed to have a forecast of like thunderstorms, hurricanes, all that kind of stuff. And I was at the store, and the power at the store like just shut off, and the backup generator kicked on. And a lot of our like customers were trying to break down the doors, and eventually they did. It broke the glass. Wind started coming in. Everybody was trying to seek shelter, and they were trying to make purchases, which was really strange. Like, you're in a thunderstorm and you're trying to buy groceries, and the power's out. You should be staying safe. I'm like, this is such a weird dream, and I finally woke myself up out of it. And the next couple days in the real world, we had a bunch of people at the grocery store that were like, chaos, but that was like one of the worst days and most busiest days that we had. And a jar of peppers actually shattered and broke. So I kind of saw the correlation of the doors, the automatic doors breaking. There was another part in there where there was a woman that got really, really mad at me because I was closing my register down, and she just walked out of the store, and that happened as well in real life. So it was really, really interesting on how time can kind of melt over into real world, and it's really fascinating. But I definitely want to like write stuff down because I've had prophetic dreams before where it could be very elaborate and I could go on for hours talking about it. But yeah, I wanted to share those little dreams. I know there's so many more that we could all share, and I'm glad there's like more dream classes that we could talk about and go more in depth. But yeah, I want everybody else to kind of share, and I don't want to take up too much time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kaci. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, again, yeah, no, like that story of like, it's like, oh, like you've got crazy psychic powers, you're like an X-Men, you're a superhero or something like that, and Agent Smith is gonna kind of like try and take him away and stuff. I mean, like, it's just like, man, like story of our life, man. Like, it's just like metaphor after metaphor. But definitely had that. I remember, I don't have a lot of dream stories to share, but there was just one story, and I'll just share. It's not even like the full, like my recall has not been the best in the past while, and again, I take responsibility for that. I'm not always writing down my dreams, my attention's on other things, and it's something I'm working on. But there was one dream that I had, and the one thing that I did remember was like, and again, it's weird, like it's like these like weird dreams that are kind of very mimicking of like stuff that's happening in the world right now, and maybe it's foreshadowing, or at least just kind of like trying to get our soul ready. But like on the dream, I was like on like a bus, and it was very like symbolic too, but I was on a bus, and I, like, it was a school bus, so like old-fashioned school bus with like kind of like those leather seats. And then like these like medical soldiers like walked into the bus, and they basically just started like they're not vaccinating people. They just started injecting people with something. But in that moment, I was just like, nope, like I'm like, that's my ticket out of here. So then like in that moment, I freaking like remember like specifically like diving over the seat and like kind of like fumbling my way out, running out the door. But then what I also did is I ran around to the back of the school bus, and I made sure that I like opened up, like, you know, like the emergency door at the back of the school bus, like that one that we always wanted to pull, but we get in trouble if we did, sort of thing. That one on the back of the door. Open up that, and so I'm like, come on, let's go, and then we like ran out of there, and then I like ended up like running through the city, and ended up like meeting up with this like underground resistance crew and everything like that. I mean, different variations of dreams. But anyways, like that's one of my little dream stories. But again, for me, I was just like, oh, like the metaphor of it, where it's just like, yeah, like, you know, like gotta take care of the team, you know, gotta take the team wherever we're going, we gotta like do it as a team, you know, like that's we can't do this alone. Doing it as a team is what's gonna like help us get through this, you know, whatever this is. So life, hashtag this is life. So okay, let's keep things rolling along. Carley, I want to pass over to you, and I know Johnny, you're here as well. Kelly, I do just kind of want to be able to honor the order that people came in. So either Johnny or Kelly, if one of you wants to go next, if you guys can even just decide that, and then we'll make sure that we'll just keep going around. So I think we'll pass over to Johnny after Carley then. So Carley, we'll pass it over to you if you are ready. Go ahead and feel free to share some stories. Welcome, Carley.
Yes. I don't have too many stories either. Mine are all very much like reflections of each other, where they're all basic same theme with just kind of like varying locations. Always a different setting. That's always super powerful. And some are like Christmas themed, some are like family themed. It's all very related to what's going on in my life and the lesson I need to learn. I feel like they're usually messages from my ancestors or spirit guides, just kind of leading me in the right direction. So I don't have a lot to say. I've just been listening. I'm running around with my son like usual, eating like usual, like always doing 20 things at once. So love that you guys hold space for me to just be me. And I just kind of want to keep this rolling. I feel like this is an awesome chat, but I love that we're staying on time. this feels really streamlined. I'm loving it. Let's keep going. Keep it rolling.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Keep it going.
We got a lot of for those of you who haven't joined in for the paradigm shift circles, like you got to get in on these, man. Like they're actually good practice for these. That's kind of the reason why we're doing them. So we'll keep things moving along here. So Johnny, we can pass it over to you. And if you've got some dream stories that you feel called to share, now would be a great time to be able to do it. And Johnny, when you're ready, pass it over to you. Welcome, Johnny.
Hey, what's going on? Robert Mayhew, aka Johnny Bloom, high vibe healer. I do karmic energy clearings within the Akashic Records. And yeah, my recent dreams, wow. I just finished taking my notes also. So there's just been so many synchronicities. I had these dreams like a week or two ago, like one a few weeks ago and another like a week or two ago. I don't know. But yeah. So I don't even dream that much. So that's why I came on here, and I was like living my present moment as if I accepted my life as it was in the past within all the negative experiences and karmic cycles that I was living in. One I lived out briefly was with my daughter's mother, and just the whole like energy sucking like whole thing that I was in, where I had to be the orchestrator and like control everything and deal with the BS. And then I experienced the other dream, where my most recent experience, where this person's parents didn't accept me and I was being forced and like trying to be molded into the person that would fit into their lives. And then I was at like a playground with all the kids, and like her parents were just like circling around me, or her dad was circling around me like a hawk, and I'm like just stressed out, and like just approached him and like just to be the man and stand up and be like, what's up, like this is uncomfortable, let's talk and smooth things out, and like that. And I removed myself from that situation, but like having that dream and already knowing that's why I left that situation, but in my dream I experienced that whole experience of what I would have had to deal with, already knowing that I would have had to deal with that. And now like I am in this space where conquering all of those karmic patterns and conquering those shadows. And it was pretty synchronistic with today, because I had these crazy energies going on last week where like I was affecting my TV speakers, and I don't know, I thought I broke my TV somehow, and the speakers were blown. So I started shopping around for TVs and speakers, and then I ordered some speakers, like some really big home theater speaker, and then the next day my speakers are fine. And it was supposed to be like delivered like last week or like a week and a half ago, and I've just been so busy I didn't even like bother to check, and the thing has been sitting in my mailbox for like a week. So today I went to the post office and got the speakers, and it's amazing, like 120 watts, and just jammed out, raised my vibration today. And then I watched Moana today with the first movie with the huge speakers, like just the whole living room bouncing with sound for the whole movie. And it's really like starting to be super synchronistic with the Moana movie and Maui And this hook that I wear, everybody says looks like Maui, but it's called Maori, and there's a 1-letter difference with an R before the I, and and it's like matches these earrings, these 2 earrings that I wear that I've had since like 10-12 years ago. I used them to gauge my ears, and like I've always felt like a demigod. Like when I had this experience, my first spiritual awakening, like, oh, my name's Rob Anthony Mayhew, and my initial spell Ram, and I'm an Aries, and I'm an Aries god, and had this huge experience with that, and moving into that. And then in the Star Soul space, when we watched Moana like a few months ago, I went to film school, and I know all the psychology behind movies too, and have my degree in there. So I analyze everything, and I see everything, all the synchronicities in the movie. And I saw at the end of the movie, Tafiti looks exactly like Moana. Moana is on a journey to find herself. She is following her calling. She wants to be a healer, and she sees like all this stuff happening. So it's like following that calling no matter what, and like slowly taking your baby steps, and people are going to be there to help you. And eventually I saw parts of the movie that I've never seen before tonight, because of the loudness of it kept my attention, and the kids' attention, so nobody was distracted. And I saw the part where her mom gave her food to go out on the journey and accepted her leaving, letting her daughter go. That was heavy. And so like I saw that with my dad too. He's like starting to accept the things that I do in my life, and conquering these shadows, and following our calling, and that slow progression. And Taka representing all of our shadows together. And when we're living in these karmic patterns that are just like we're living repetitively and not experiencing anything new, and like answering our calling, and that Taka, that spirit, those shadows just begin to infect our life like deeper and deeper, until we have to go out on that big journey. And then we set out, and we stumble upon these small shadows, and you we stumble upon them, and them stumbling past these shadows, because we're following our calling. And um and we're learning to navigate, to to find our way finally, and slowly find everything. And as I said, Takai equals all the shadows put together, and infecting our whole world and our inner mind. And like once we start to notice and see all those shadows building up, and we finally come to the final frontier, where it's like we either face them or we don't. And the first time Moana goes against Taka with Maui, they fail. They obviously fail, because it's the first time they've encountered it. They don't know how to approach it, and she sees that when her arm falls in the water, it freezes. And that's one thing that can be used to their advantage. So like every time you face a shadow, you're seeing how to get around it, how to conquer it. And then the second time she goes in there, Maui takes off, but she completely trusts herself and completely trusts spirit. And she goes in, tricks the spirit, goes in there and gets in there. And then Maui comes swooping in, helping, and saves the day. And like just having that complete trust in yourself, and that complete trust in spirit, and just going towards your calling. And like I just been completely coming into that space and that embodiment with myself. And those dreams like really those dreams helped me. And like now I'm just moving forward past all of those shadows. It feels like, so it's just one, the synchronicities with all that is just, I just went off the handle there.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you. That's good. Definitely feeling inspired to watch Moana again. That's for sure. I was honestly thinking, I'm like, okay, let's do like, we'll do a circle topic just on like Moana breakdown metaphors and everything like that. So thank you for inspiring that, Rob. So cool. Rob, thank you, dude. We'll keep passing the talking stick here, and thank you for the great share. So
That was awesome.
okay, all right. We're gonna keep Kelly. We can pass it over to you, and then from that, Lacey. Lacey's got like, well, there's a Void Hawk dream, but then there's like this other freaking dream where
There's so many, but I do want to share one
freaking
that
like
actually has a lot to do with what Rob's talking about.
conquering shadows.
Conquering shadow.
Yeah,
So-
where no big deal. Basically, like met the Indian god of death, and like you didn't know it was that thing until we like reverse engineered to like figure it out. The search, like
Yeah, I searched to find out who he was.
we did.
I'll
you
talk
did some
about
research.
it.
Stay tuned. It's coming. So
Yeah.
Kelly, we'll pass it. We'll pass it over to you. Keeping an eye on the clock here. We'll do a little meditation before we wrap it up. Kelly, when you're ready, go right ahead.
Yeah, I think we should do the Moana talk. My friend always says, you got to watch it because there's so many light codes. Okay, so I wrote about this dream in the Discord because it was so powerful. We've all had those dreams where we say that did not feel like a dream. It felt so real. I have lucid dreams. This felt like a different space than all of that. I really felt like I was in a space I'd never been in before, and it felt like a tutorial, interactive tutorial. And so there's two parts to it. At first, so I'm thinking that I'm not asleep, and now I'm hearing myself think, and I'm thinking, okay, I want to test my imagination. And we've all been talking about how our imagination is more powerful than we know. Well, I'm thinking it's way more powerful than we know, because I decided to, in my mind, like create a person and like close my eyes and reach out and like imagine the person and like touch their arm. And I was like, oh my God, I totally feel their arm, like so intensely. This really works. Our imaginations are more powerful than we know. And I thought, okay, so this is what this is about, this space. And then it went into a second part where I was actually interacting with this person, and as if we were like dating, and I was seeing like red flags, and I was like, okay, there's one. And I was like, okay, there's two. And I was like, okay, there's three. Now, and I said something like, okay, so you did this and you did this, and you did this. So, and scene, like, that's it. Like, I don't want to date you anymore. And it was like this funny interactive thing where I was like, oh, so that's what this tutorial is about, is to teach me that that's how simple that's just all you do. It's that simple. And I got to practice it. And so then I came out of it and I thought, wow, I didn't think I thought I already knew boundaries and all that, but I guess I needed to practice that more in like a simpler way or something. And then a couple days later, I realized I used to have these dreams where I would learn something that there's no way I could have learned it other than through the dream. And I absolutely needed to know that. Like, I could have died that weekend doing that thing if I hadn't been taught. So this is how you do that when you ride that dirt bike. You have to do it this way to avoid that, or whatever it was. I can't remember now. I'm gonna have to go back to my old dream journals because this was like 2 decades ago. But I remember coming out of it and every time being so thankful and not knowing who to thank. And that's kind of how I felt with this recent one, where I was like, okay, so I was just given this opportunity, this tutorial, like, who was gifting me with that? Was that my higher self? Was that something else? But I don't know, but thank you. And I just felt so appreciative. And I was kind of in that extra humble state all day, like, oh, I feel so honored. So I don't know if you guys have had those kind of tutorial dreams like that, but that was awesome.
Thank you, Kelly, so much for sharing. Beautiful share. And I love like the cosmic backdrop that we got behind you with the galaxy spiraling and everything like that. Putting in the extra effort for the broadcast production tonight. Thank you, Kelly. As well. So, beautiful. Okay, we'll keep things moving along here. So Lacey's going to tell maybe one or two of the stories that we were hyping up from earlier. Two. You can share two. Okay. And after that, I'd like to just kind of go around with any additional like tips, recommendations, things that have worked for you that you would like to be able to share with the audience, keeping in mind that there are people who may be brand new to this practice. And then from there, we'll get close to wrapping it up with a short little meditation. So we may or may not do like a full-fledged like dream tree meditation. I mean, we'll be there tomorrow morning for our Friday team podcast, broadcast, meditation. What am I trying to say here? Anyways, here, Lacey, you're in charge of the show from now on.
Okay.
So, okay, passing it back over to Lacey when you're ready, Lacey.
I'd be good at that, but you do a great job.
You too.
Okay, so I wanted to share two dreams. He wants me to share the Void Hawk thing. I'll do that first because it's not really like a long thing, and then I'll share the other two because they're really cool. Okay. So the Void Hawk, like I said, is a reoccurring dream guardian ally. The first time that I was introduced to the Void Hawk was actually through a separate UFO dream. In the dream, I was a young girl and I was hearing, or I was escorted out of my bed by two what looked like people, but they turned out to be other beings. I didn't know that, but in the dream, I was my young self again. And they took me onto their ship and they asked me to do specific things like tasks and stuff. I wasn't being probed or anything weird. It was just like really all about like my mental abilities. So that was super casual. I had this dream like probably like 5 or 6 years ago, but I was like a young girl. I was probably like 7 or 8 in the dream. And so they brought me back to my bed and they were really like kind of like nice. They looked just like normal people dressed in normal clothing, but then something got weird. It was like they stepped outside of the room and I could hear them. I was like listening in and they said Void Hawk is coming. At the time I had no idea I woke up and I was like, what the hell is Void Hawk? Like I didn't even know what that meant. I never heard those words before. So that was that dream. Very like reptilian stuff, like shape-shifting, like a war going on, and I was witnessing it and I was running through it as a young child, and there was human beings that looked like humans, but they were able to shapeshift. It got weird, and they were telling me like we were the ones that had come here and like fucked up the planet, I don't know, and took over. So the narrative was way different than what people think with the whole reptilian overlords. But anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. That was the first dream I had with the Void Hawk, but it was only the name that was mentioned, and I didn't even know what it looked like. I didn't even know that it was like a ship. So maybe a year or so later, I dreamt that I was third person. Like I was inside a body, but I was also outside my body, and there was a wise chief, and he was sitting on a throne on top of a temple in the jungle, and he was reciting my life, but my life as someone else. And it was like this great mythos, this great like legend where I had flown this Void Hawk. So he said the word Void Hawk. So I'm watching him as he's like reading it out. And then, and then the Void Hawk, and it's just crazy to me that this is a dream because it sounds like a story. And so as a young child, I had telepathically connected with the Void Hawk. So I would have as he's reciting it, I would see myself as a baby inside of it, and we were linked by our minds. And so I could fly it, but I was like 2 years old. Like I was like a baby. Like I was just a toddler flying the Void Hawk. And it was cool. There was like dinosaurs and like weird reptilian, like flying reptiles in this world. It was cool. And so it was just very fun and brief, and I was a pilot, and I dream a lot about being a pilot. So that's pretty cool. So that was another Void Hawk. And then there's been 2 other ones where it's been mentioned, but recently I summoned the Void Hawk. So I was not just me, but every version of me in all different timelines. It was like we were all sleeping at the same time, and we were all like it was almost like it's like we were all connected by this like tether, and we were all like void. Like I called her, I said her name, I said Kira, and then like in my mind, and then I could feel other me's like also going like calling her. And then we saw she like flew out, like she came out of a body of water, like she's like, and she flew out of the water, but she flew really low to the ground, and it was like I was her, and she like boom, like flew through the woods really, really fast. But that was it. That was like 2 weeks ago with the Void Hawk. But I was so impressed. I was like, I summoned her. What can I do next? I'm really excited to keep channeling what she means to me. Like why are we connected, and like is there a cause, is there a purpose to it, and why is she my guide? And I mean, she's just like, there's a piece of art that I have called Tethered to Kira. You can find it on the Paper Druid on Instagram, and that's inspired by her. So anyways, I'm gonna read my next one. I had this one last week, and it's called Death and Dharma. So I'm at an outdoor arena in the old world. A play is taking place below, and the stands are packed with people. I stand on the stairs as I search for a place to sit and cannot find an empty spot. I see some friends nearby, and they wave me over. In a sudden moment, I change my plans and take off running into the streets. As my friends look at me confused, like I was about to sit down, there was this big, it was like almost like a Greek, like Babylonian type of like environment. And I'm like, I gotta go. And I like took off, and they're like, what the hell? Like, why aren't you sitting, hanging out with us? So I took off and take off running into the streets. I make my way to an outdoor market where I begin searching for something. Oh man, guys, this is gonna get trippy. So at first, I'm not entirely sure why I'm on this mission, but I know I must find something. And in my mind, I want to find something for Brendon. I'm like, I'm gonna find him this gift, something beautiful. Like, I want to find him something. I make my way to a small corner stand in a dark corridor where a gypsy-looking woman points to a wall. On the wall, interestingly shaped flutes hang. She lets me put my hands to them, and instantly they respond to my touch. They begin to play beautiful melodic music, and then it begins to sing like a bird. All sorts of bird calls come from the flute. She says to me, it plays what you feel. I'm mesmerized by this magical flute, but I don't purchase it, and I leave to continue on my quest. I'll stop to interject here. When I went back, I actually posted this in another dream circle that I'm a part of, and a woman actually told me that this is part of a myth with a Hindu god, and that this flute is given to an initiate who's supposed to be the most pure of spirit and like to ascend to enlightenment, and he actually plays the flute. And I had no, like, it gets really over, I don't know how that translated in my dream, but she's like, you dreamt of this. So I was like, the story of this, which is a legend throughout since the beginning of time. So anyways, I keep running, and I come across a large entryway that leads down to an empty space. There is a single cutout window on the far side of the room, but no light enters it, so it's quite dark. It's all like stone. I enter the room and notice others piling in through the door, through 2 different doors on either side. A young man approaches me. He asks me if he can take my picture. He pulls out a strange-looking camera. I agree anyway to the photo, even though I was kind of weirded out by it. I was like, why does he want to take my picture? He tells me to move over to where the others are, and everyone is pushing into each other to fit into the frame. He takes the picture, and now I'm transported quite quickly from one space to another. Myself and the others are now treading in deep water. Water is all around us, and we are holding on to each other. I'm very confused by this. I swim, and I try to see if anything is in the distance, but I can't see any land. Then before us, a weird-looking ship platform appears. It's high above the water. I see the young man standing on the platform looking down at us. He points to me and says, "You," like really intensely, like yelled at me. And then I'm somehow lifted from the water and placed inside a cube that is connected to other cubes with weird puzzle-like contraptions between each cube. He fills the cubes with other people, 6 in total. I look around and see that these are familiar people to me. I know them. They're my friends. They're family. There's some type of soul connection. Before me, a table stands, and laid out on top of it are weird-looking weapons. The curator, this is what I ended up calling him, the curator, tells us the weapons are powerful and only can be wielded by specific types of people. I have hesitation to touch these things as I feel the energy is kind of dark and sinister. I observe the others as each person begins touching the objects. Each one fails as they try to lift the weapon and wield it. So the weapon chooses you, I guess. Then across the way, a guy picks one up and he's able to wield it. The curator then tells the guy to stab each of us in the heart if he wants to gain his freedom. He moves through the cubes, unlocking each of the puzzle doorways, and begins impaling. Sorry if there's a trigger warning, it's violent. Impaling the other straight in the heart. I am shook to the core by this. I can't believe what I'm witnessing. It's really, really intense. I'm like, oh, shit, he's coming for me. So, where am I? Sorry. It's long. Sorry, my dreams are very long. I frantically grab each weapon and begin lifting them. And they're like weird and like, it's so bizarre. Nothing is working. In my last effort, I raise my last weapon and it shape shifts. So it changes and turns into like this long, thin type of sword. I hold it in front of my chest. And I know in this moment, I cannot hurt this person. I don't have it in me to harm anyone. And I'm ready to sacrifice my own life because I don't want to kill this man. I shut my eyes and drop the sword. Then I open my eyes to see the curator. He is standing in front of me. And the space around me has shifted again. We are now standing in a corridor. It is dimly lit. He urges me forward as I walk towards a gateway, a doorway. It is like a mandala shifting geometric shapes. It is moving constantly and looks like a mandala. He doesn't say anything but leads me to the door. Then he's gone and I stand before it. It opens and before me in a small temple room sits what I now know to be Yama, the god of death and dharma. He is sitting in meditation pose. As soon as I lock eyes with him, I am stuck. I cannot move. I cannot move my body or look away. And he was really scary to look at, for sure. He was like a demon.
But he was like regular human size, right? Like
no.
A little bit bigger?
He was big.
Not too big. Or really big? How big was he?
He was like a massive demon, like at least 8 feet tall, 9 feet tall.
Okay, but not like 30 feet tall.
No.
Yeah, so like smaller than
he was like meditating. He had big, scary face.
Yeah, how do you spell it?
Yama?
Y-A.
Y-A-M-A.
So if you guys want to Google search that while listening to this, feel free. And even as you're listening, feel free to just like close your eyes and, kind of be there.
Hold on a second.
Oh, you're showing it on, yeah, go ahead, you can kind of see it.
Yama.
Yama.
And these are like a bunch of heads, like souls. Okay. I'll go on. Creepy. Yeah, it was creepy for me to see it, for sure.
And like, you didn't know what, and that was the thing. So like, you woke up and we were talking about this, and it wasn't until afterwards that somebody else helped you piece together the idea that like, that's who this was.
That it was
like, who was this person?
And
like,
just based on my story and how I experienced it, and I'll go on and I'll read and I'll talk a little bit about it before I finish. But anyway, so he's sitting in meditation pose. As soon as I lock eyes with him, I'm stuck. I cannot move my body or look away. He's melded his mind with my mind with his. He dives deep into my psyche and begins to show me things. It's like unlocking a fortress, and I have to find the key. The feeling is that of torture. I fear not completing the trials. I fear that if I fail, he will claim my soul. Inside my own mind, another voice, not of my own, guides me through the obstacle course where intricate puzzles and words and images unfold in front of me. I have to make sense of it all, and me and the voice argue over what is real and what is an illusion. I feel stuck in this place for a long time. Time is forever, and I'm in an eternity of madness. There is no end in sight, no direction to go. I'm lost in the labyrinth of my own mind. Then a moment of clarity, and the other voice disappears. I go, I know what it is. Then a white void completely takes over me. I think I've died, and my soul has gone to hell. I've lost my soul. I stand between a strange, never-ending stone wall and a white void. I shut my eyes and surrender to my death and open them to see a new landscape unfold. A future of prosperity, nature and technology in unison. Geodomes line the sky. A new world is birthed before my very eyes.
Like Buckminster Fuller type society, geodesic domes and...
Yeah, so this is what's really cool. After I did some research and I researched that whole experience, the experience of the soul navigating, I think, what is similar to the afterlife, to my understanding, it's, the thing is no one can take something that is yours. So my lesson there was that I was my own judgment. Does that make sense? So like I was, Yama literally just...
like a mirror.
He was a mirror. So he didn't have the ability to claim my soul. Only I could give it away. And so giving my power away. There was so many layers to it. It was like I understood the nature of the human experience for sure during that dream, and my relationship with God, or Godhead. It isn't a particular thing. I think there's archetypes that can fill roles of that, but this is like the ultimate story of the hero's journey. And it's my journey and your journey as well. Like this story is for all of us, and that's why I'm sharing it tonight, because it wasn't only me there that was facing Yama. It was all of us facing Yama, and we face Yama just by being here now, right? And we're all rising to our power, into the light that's within us. And the biggest thing that came from that was that the kingdom to heaven was like, I had already found it. Like it's already here, and it's inside our own hearts. And it was just like really profound. I think I cried after I had that dream. I don't know. Like it was just like, I don't know what to do with this one. But I'm just so happy to share it because it was deeply moving to know that in the face of something monstrous and scary and like crazy, that my spirit like knew what to do. Like it was just like, it's so cool to see how I show up in dream time. Because sometimes I feel like I'm so like, I'm a really anxious person and like really chaotic and fiery, and like you guys don't know me that well, but like that's who I am. So it's like really cool to see how I show up in this very pure way. So I get to see a new part of me, and I definitely try to bring it back from that space in my waking reality. It's like, wow, okay, like I chose the higher path. I chose to sacrifice myself, in return was given the gift. It was so cool. It was just so cool. So yeah, that was a really good one.
It's exciting just hearing you share it.
I get really excited. I like sharing because it's like, I love being a storyteller, and that's a story, you know. It's a dream that I have, but it's a story, one that we all share. So yeah.
Well, thank you, Lacey. I'm sure we could probably talk about that longer. We'll keep an eye on the time here. And I know there's some comments with Kelly talking in the chat about a dream they had about Anubis. If we can still create a little bit more time for a few more dream stories, if anybody's like, oh, like, okay, I got one that might be relevant. But it was interesting because, like, even, you know, that reminded me of another dream that you had only like a couple weeks before that, where it involved like crossing the river Styx. Which was like a lot to do with like the underworld, like the like, and I don't know, like maybe we can tell that a little bit later or something like that.
I don't have to tell the whole story, but they gave me, so I actually was the
coxswain, like the
guy that takes
boat.
you across the river to the afterlife. So they had promoted me to that position, and in the dream, keep it short, there was an elderly couple that had passed, and they were passing on, and I was guiding them to the afterlife. And I realized it as I was like rowing, and there was like crazy crocodiles like it was so weird. And apparently they worship crocodiles.
Absolutely, yeah.
I had no idea, but I researched it after.
Yeah, I think that for me is like some of the most fascinating things about our dreams, Lacey's dreams, any of our dreams, is like we'll have these experiences, and then afterwards we'll look stuff up and we'll be like, whoa, like I didn't even know that was a thing. And then suddenly, so it's just kind of like, you know, sometimes we dream about things we see on TV, but then there's like other things that's coming like right from like the depths of our soul, which is like tapped into this like ultra conscious awareness, which is like pulling things from like historical cultural references, like beyond space and time. Like you didn't know who Yama was, and yet somehow like they literally kind of like show up within your dream in the same way that I'm sure Yama or versions of Yama, mirrors and fractals of Yama, has shown up in many dreams, in many circumstances, in many different ways. So yeah, it was really, really powerful. So Kelly, did you want to, I'd love to just like invite you if you feel called. I know you commented in the YouTube. Kelly, we'll pass over to you, and then anybody else, again, we'll get into some closing tips and tricks and any other quick stories before we get close to wrapping it up. Kelly, go ahead if you'd like to share, please, by all means.
She frozen.
I don't remember it too well right now. I'm gonna have to go back and load. I just remember that right here.
Yep, I think it's okay.
Am I here?
Yep, it's catching up.
Am I back?
You're good. Go ahead.
Okay, I took a hotspot earlier because I'm too close to the beach. Nice problem to have. Can you hear me? Okay.
We'll just give it a second here. Yeah, Kelly, if you're still there, we'll hold space for just a couple more seconds.
I guess I gotta do spot. I'm in the hotspot.
There you go. Okay, try again, Kelly.
3, 2.
Oh.
Glitching out.
Okay. Ooh, hotspot works. So I don't really remember the dream too much, but I want to go back and look at it now. So maybe I could share more details at another time. But I just remember in the dream tuning in, maybe I became lucid or something. And I remember asking myself, is it scary? No, it's not a scary vibe. And then afterwards doing some research and realizing, yeah, that's not something to be scared about. You know, it's like when you're a kid and you see images and you don't know what's going on. And then, you know, you hear from people who don't know, like, oh, that looks scary. And so I just remember learning that wasn't something to be scared of. And that's why I didn't feel scary, I guess. So maybe I'll be able to share that one after I look it up in my dream journals.
Absolutely, yeah, and one could be one for another broadcast or one for the Discord at least. So yeah, beautiful. All right, okay, we'll keep an eye on the time here. Is there anybody else, Kristen? Yeah. So if there's some other stories, we can create a little bit more time for that, and then we'll get close to wrapping it up with closing thoughts and tips and tricks, and leave everyone on their way feeling ultra inspired to continue this practice. So Kristen, go ahead, pass it over to you.
Ooh, exciting. Okay, so I'm just so loving the dreams about the gods and the ability to like connect with them in the different ways that we do. And I was reminded of a dream that I actually had right at the beginning of connecting with Paradigm Shift, where I had just been starting my Reiki courses and getting certified on being a Reiki healer. And I, in the dream, was connecting with Thor and doing healing with Thor. Like he was healing me, I was healing him, and it was a very peaceful ceremony. And I just remember feeling like I don't know, like it was where I was meant to be. It was the best way to describe it. But after we had finished the healing ceremonies, we were kind of transported to a city that was basically like um it had the feeling of like Men in Black meets the Matrix, kind of, essentially. And so, but it was interesting because it was like Thor and I were not part of the same mm, physical setup. It was very like we felt more organic, and the people in the buildings felt more like electric, very like computerized. And so it was interesting because we were kind of going about just observing the people as they were interacting with each other. And we noticed that it was like a group of elite, like Men in Black type people that were kind of like just faceless, that were going around manipulating people to be more focused on like money and like competing with each other. And so in that moment, we took the opportunity to start like connecting with the faceless men and like showing them love from the heart and letting them see like the beauty that can come from actually like connecting with each other. And it for some reason like froze their programming. And so then the people that were not faceless began to like kind of unfold into their true selves. And it was just a really really cool dream to experience. And then I just remember the end of it because like I became lucid at the very end of the dream, where I was like with Thor. We were like at the top of the building, we had made it through all the different levels of the building, and we were up to like meet with the big bad guy, or with like the leader of the faceless people. And he basically like saw what had already happened and just kind of like dissolved, essentially. And then we teleported into my living room with my mom and had breakfast. And I just remember waking up laughing like my mom was having breakfast with Thor, like eating cereal, talking about life, like whatever. It was so normal and cool. But so that was a fun dream that I had there. And then I wanted to mention too that, oh, I don't remember now who, but somebody had mentioned lucid dreaming. And lucid dreaming is something that I do experience most nights. And so it's kind of one of those things that for me, the dream begins kind of like in my subconscious muddle. And then I realize I start to like look at the clock on the wall. I always look at my hands. I try to like feel things. So I'll like pick up a book or touch a blanket or something like in the dream to kind of start triggering that awareness. And then yeah, from there you can really start to create what you experience if you desire to do so. Like there's a lot of dreams that I'll be like experiencing something and kind of like learning a lesson, and then I'll be like, well, okay, what will happen if we turn this into a rainbow road and go play in the fairy field with the with the fairies in the forest, and kind of like just allow yourself to um I don't know, move through the different spaces that you can be in rather than staying in one. I don't know, but definitely like feeling the warp of time throughout that. It definitely can. Like if I jump to too many different places, I do wake up feeling like kind of disoriented, like what time zone am I in right now? And I have to kind of like ground myself when I wake up. But yeah, thank you guys for letting me share my dreams. And they're just a lot of fun. And I always appreciate being able to share with you all. So that was a fun one that I had, meeting Paradigm Shift, and thought it would be good to share. And yeah, any tips and tricks that I can give? Cleaning your room helps a lot, like next to your bed. if you want to have more like spiritually natured dreams, I have found that keeping amethyst and kyanite, blue kyanite especially, next to your bed can help increase that. And then drinking or smoking mugwort and rose petals is super, super helpful. Definitely utilize your own discretion with that. Also, scripting can be really great. And yeah, there's a lot of other amazing things, but I'm going to pass the talking stick and let somebody else share. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I love dreams. I love talking about dreams. It's always so exciting to hear everybody's stories and the many ways that we experience the space. So
Thank you, Kristen, so much for sharing. And yeah, like I look forward to more dream classes where, again, you know, like people who have had those dreams where they're like meeting, like, again, almost mythical creatures and beings and archetypes and gods and demigods and everything, right? Because it's like, man, it's like there's something to that, you know. It's like they're a part of us, they're inside of us, or maybe in some cases it's actually real. And you know, we didn't really get too much into it today, but it's like dreaming of these like other lives and other cities and other places, and like what could be almost recognized as like, you know, like Atlantis or Lemuria, but not even just even like on this earth plane. You know, you get other people dreaming of like having, you know, these existences that may come out as a dream, but maybe they're actually, again, kind of like a fractal of a memory of our soul. It's fair to assume that each and every single one of us is infinitely old and has all of these many different aspects to the experiences that we've lived through. And then again, you know, I think within this experience that we have here on earth, it's like all of that is in us now, and then it's just kind of like it's just kind of like getting like sprinkled back into our awareness when the time is right, you know. So it's kind of like, oh, you've lived on that planet, you lived on that planet, you lived on that planet, and maybe on each and every single one of those planets we all become aware of like the other lifetimes as well. And it all kind of converges. It's this great convergence of like the dreamer awakening within the dream. But essentially, you know, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to be able to have these conversations, because I feel this is such a big part of what we came here to do. We came here to literally kind of like peel back like the veil of the dream that is this reality. And much like, you know, we talk about lucidity and activating lucidity within a sleeping dream, you know, when you're in the dream, oftentimes you don't really realize you're in the dream. You're just kind of going about it. It's just kind of almost like you're on a track, or you're on a script, so to speak. But then when you become lucid, again, it kind of like brings you into this heightened state of awareness, where again, I feel that same concept literally applies to this reality, where many people, they're kind of going through this reality and they're on a track. They're kind of like, they're automatons. They're kind of going along with it, but they're not fully conscious. And then by us having these discussions and having our own aha moments and just awakening our consciousness, we literally get to the point where it's just kind of like, oh my goodness, like I can feel myself becoming lucid. Like I can, and it's not like the lucidity is literally just like it's on or it's off. Like the lucidity is something that's kind of like cranked up over time. It's something that's like a dial. It's something that grows naturally over time. So again, I feel that is such a big reason why we are here, is to be able to cultivate that lucidity within this awareness. And that lucidity is the clarity of understanding that we are bigger than this lifetime alone. That there are many aspects to our being, and yet here now we kind of get to be able to come kind of like bring them into one lifetime, which is like such a powerful idea. Like all those hero aspects of who you are come together to create like this hero that carries like many heroes as well. And that's such a beautiful concept and image. And again, and as we get close to the end of the broadcast, using this as a call to action, where the purpose of us doing this isn't so it's just like, oh, okay, we've done it, this is great to know, but it's like, oh, we've done this, may it continue to inspire us to be able to bring action into this world. May it continue to inspire us to create art, to serve community, to bring more love and compassion and plant seeds and reconnect with the earth, and to literally be, again, you know, light guardians and stewards and shifters, exactly what we talk about. So we activate this hero within inside of us through our connection with the dream, thus so that we can reconnect with our dharma and our purpose to be able to help collectively assist with the shift in consciousness, thus to help other people wake up. You know, it's kind of like once you've woken up, or you're in the process of awakening, because we're always in the process of awakening, you know, there's always more to awaken to, right? It's always the journey, it's the unfolding spiral. Once you do that, like if you're looking for your purpose, like you can find purpose in being able to help others, be a mirror for them, be a way shower, be a guide, you know, just kind of hold space for them to be able to tap into that wisdom within their own heart. And that's where, again, you know, like we here as a community, we're passionate about talking about dreams. And I think for a lot of people who may be new to this, they're like, whoa, I've never seen this before. I've never, you know, when was the last time they talked about dreams on mainstream news? Like never, like literally never, right? Like, so it's like kind of like this idea where here we have this opportunity to really, this is the archaic revival. This is a lost art, you know? So like, go watch Waking Life again if you want that inspiration and really tap into this feeling of like, we as dreamers have this very powerful story. And in the process of us awakening individually and collectively, again, what I feel is super, super powerful goes back to this ability of reconnecting with our potential to create. So much like when you become lucid in a dream, you have this ability to manifest things with intention from your heart space, not just like through will of the ego, but through will of the heart. And so like, how can we continue to become better creators, better dreamers within this dream? Like I'll just end it at that point because again, we can always talk about this another time, but I just kind of summarize where it's like, we are here to become better dreamers within this dream. And I invite each and every single one of you to kind of like reflect, like, what does that mean to you? So this life is incredibly beautiful and magical, and just keep exploring it and realize like how incredibly synchronistic and symbolic, and how the universe is always communicating to us, much like it would through a dream space, literally every single day. Start looking for the signs, start looking for the symbols, start looking for the you know, the language that the universe is reaching out to you through, and you'll start to realize that, you know, the universe is here to help us awaken, and thus in turn to be able to ripple that out. And, you know, as we do that, it leads us back to the heart, which leads us back to the solutions and leads us into the visions that we've already felt. So let's keep things rolling along here. Again, we'll just get into closing kind of like gratitude and tips, or tips and then gratitude. And then we'll do a short meditation just to be able to close off the circle. And we'll make sure that we're done in the next little bit. Robert, Kaci, Kelly, and anybody else who might be off camera, I think that's, yeah, and Carley, if any of you wanted to just be able to share any tips, tricks, things that have worked for you, advice for the people who may be new to the dream practice, and Lacey as well, we can share that. Anybody on camera want to be able to share anything before we get close to wrapping it up? Yeah, okay, we'll pass over to Robert, and then Lacey, we can pass it over to you. So Robert, any tips and tricks for the fellow dreamers out there? Go right ahead. Thank you.
I guess, well, I don't have too many. I'm kind of a beginner myself too, so I can relate with some people there at that level. I just wrote in the chat a few minutes ago also that I think, I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure the nights that I've had dreams are the nights that I like just mind dump into my journal. So my head is cleared and not wandering and all that. And yeah, and this community, this space, I'm so grateful for it, and just being able to have people on our page and learn from and inspire us and keep our chins up. That's very, very important as well, to stay on a clear sighted vision with others, and yeah, just keeping our vibrations up and clear headed and getting all the tools to consistently stay on that level.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, I'll just say here, and then does anybody else want to go next? I mean, again, I know Lacey can go, but if anybody else wants to go, so I'll just say real quick. I mean, there's a lot of tips and tricks, and go back and listen to some of the past dream class broadcasts. We always kind of like go over some of the basics. But one thing I will say that's super, super important, when it comes to dream practice, everything that you need, you already have. Like everything that you need is already inside of you. So I know like there are tools that we can look to that can be helpful and assist and everything like that. But like literally, even if you weren't to use those like external tools, other than just like a way to record your dreams, you'd still be able to do it. You know, a lot of like the tips and the tricks, it comes down to habits and routine and consistency. And that's where, again, one of the most important things within dream practice is community, because the consistency can be the most challenging thing. So just knowing you're surrounded by a community of people who are also working on this practice and who are learning at the same time, you know, like that's the thing with dream practice. Sometimes it's like you will fall off. You'll get busy with life happens, right? And then it's like being able to find a rhythm and a routine that works for you, and creating that intention to incubate the practice and to create the habits that support the practice, right? You know, it's kind of like a basic thing where it's like, oh, like I want to like eat good food, but then you don't go out and buy good food. So like, how do you expect to eat good food? So it's like the same with dream practices. It's like, oh, I want to have good dreams. It's like, okay, so have a dream journal, take care of your space. And these are just a couple tricks, you know, like pay attention to when you go to sleep. Like try going to sleep a little bit earlier, and try going to sleep with intention. And as Robert was saying, which is a great piece of advice, meditating before bed, journaling before bed, offload, like brain dump, like that's the actual term. Like if you go to sleep with a lot on your mind, it's very likely that you kind of fall asleep with that on your mind. I like this metaphor where when we go to sleep, I've talked about this before, it's very powerful, and I'll pass over to Lacey. You can almost imagine that like every night that we go to sleep, it's like kind of like there's like this golden chalice, and we can kind of like hold it up. And then the universe kind of like pours this beautiful elixir into it. And this elixir is the essence of the dream wisdom, you know? And so if we kind of show up within dream space and our chalice is already filled up, like it's filled up with, you know, things that we did during the day, and that friend who we have to like, you know, maybe they pissed us off or something like that, or like we got other things that we haven't really, you know, fully dealt with and things. And that chalice is full and you're holding it, and then the universe is like pouring stuff in it. It's just overflowing. It's like, well, you can't hold that, you know, like your cup's too full right now. And so it's like before bed, like take that cup, like let it like dump it, not dump it, but like pour it with intention, clear the mind, and then set that intention, literally communicate, write it down, be like, you know, like guides, universe, God, consciousness, spirit, soul, like I'm putting forth that intention to be, you know, if anything, just be like, show me what I need to see. Or you can be like, you know, I am looking to connect with my guides. You can actually like ask questions. Again, there's like an input process with the dream practice. You can actually like set intentions. You can practice visualizing things as you fall asleep, which is a very powerful practice. And when you help empty your cup, again, then at that point, you know, the universe is like, okay, sweet, here's a super powerful dream for you. Will you be ready to carry it? Will you be ready to hold it? And then even still, it's like you might have it in your cup, but then part of the practice is like, you know, you get close to waking up, it's like, whoa, my cup's getting all like spilly, and then it's like, oh, and then it's like you wake up in the morning and it's like you have to like take that cup and you have to take what's still in it and you have to kind of like drink it as like an embodiment of the memory. It's kind of like a very peculiar visualization, but like imagine you're in bed and like metaphorically you're holding this chalice and it's got this beautiful gold liquid, and that's like the memory of your dream. Too fast and you're like, I gotta go to the bathroom, or I gotta check my phone. You take that cup and you spill it, you knock it over, and then you pick it back up and you're like, I don't remember anything. Like, what happened to that dream? Like, where is it? Where'd it go? It's like, dude, it's all over the floor. You freaking spilled it. You can't take that water and once you spill water out of a cup, good luck trying to put it back into the cup, right? Like, that's pretty hard, right? So it's like you wake up, you have this gold liquid in your chalice, and before you get out of bed, and this is a tip, bring in that stillness, bring in that meditation. Don't look at your phone. Keep your phone like out of arm's reach if you can. Journal in a way that works for you, just kind of like having that journal closed, minimal body movement, or even before you journal, just lie there, reflect, and again, just kind of like slowly just kind of like drink that essence into your being, you know, and just kind of like, and that's what I feel is like a big thing with dream space. When we do this, it's like each time we do that, it's kind of like we're voyagers, kind of like what Johnny was saying with the Moana metaphors, where it's like every night we go into this space and it's like we are ambassadors. What can we bring back with us? And what happens when we set that intention to be like, I am intending to bring something back with us, back with me, back with you. And so you kind of do that. And like Lacey was saying, you know, there will be some dreams and it's like, oh, this is a dream that was for me and it's not something I need to share, and it was very personal, and you know, I'm going to reflect on it. And then there are other dreams where it's like, wait a second, like this is a dream for the collective. Maybe this is something that I can share. I hope I have the community to be able to practice sharing it, and that's why we create this space, right? Because we become conduits for the universe to kind of speak through us, and it's evolving, right? Like it's literally evolving. And this is where you start getting into the idea of like, again, you know, like we're expanding our relationship with like extra dimensional beings, you know, what we recognize as ETs and OUs. The contact is happening in this space, but it's not just like ETs, quote unquote. It's like freaking gods and ancients and guides and angels. It's all this, and it's just like, whoa, that's so freaking crazy, man. That's so crazy. But at the same time, it's just like, if any of it exists, all of it exists. So it's like, is it really that crazy? Is it? You know, like we're seeing the universe through this little tiny pea hole, this little tiny pinhole type thing, you know, the size of a pea. And I think the dream space is a space where we get the chance to just kind of like glimpse into something much, much bigger. And then even then, that is still just a glimpse into something more. So I get excited about talking about this, but I'll pass it over to Lacey. I know we're a little bit past our initial time, but we'll get close to wrapping it up shortly. And anybody else, we'll go around with just kind of closing thoughts and any additional tips and tricks. And for those of you in the YouTube comment, please leave any recommendations there as well. Go ahead, Lacey.
I'm going to say, dreams, the final frontier. Yeah, so some tips that I could give. What is he showing? I'm looking at that. So I wear moldavite, and this also has moonstone in it. I had a friend make this for me, and I mean, honestly, like, I'm like this with like, I think that any tool that means something to you can be a powerful ally, I guess. So for me, moldavite,
it's like an amplifier.
An amplifier, yeah. So like whatever feels, it could even be something from your past. Like, I think that those can be really, really great because they ground you into your physical body. So for me, I've been working a lot with moldavite for a long time, but I'd never owned a piece of it. My friend would let me borrow it, weirdly enough, because it's expensive to buy moldavite, right? And so she let me borrow it, and I would put it under my pillow, and I always had some pretty far out dreams anytime I'd have it. So this past year, it's like, I really want to have a little chunk that I can wear and see what happens.
Other than the one that I already got. Yeah.
You gave me a little chunk, yeah. Sorry. You did give me a little
multiple
chunk.
Moldavite necklaces here.
Yeah. We share a chunk. But
Yeah,
anyways, this one I've been working with, it is a powerful stone. A lot of people are kind of weird about it, but I think that if you're like I said, if it feels right to you, any stone, any type of talisman can help you dive deeper into those realms. So that's one little tip.
Even if it's just to remind you of your intention to dive deeper. Like maybe the stone does nothing. Maybe the stone just holds the idea.
That's the thing. It's
right?
literally just to hold the space of it. Like it's like, this is like, you know, I touch this during the day and I know what this means to me and how it's my little, like, I start my ship with it. It's my key.
Yeah,
I'm getting into my little spaceship, and then I'm taking off into the cosmic beyond. Every night I go to bed, and I actually treat that like each day. So I don't know if anyone else said this here, but when I wake up, the first thing I think about, obviously, if I'm recall my dream, but what do you? I think about dreaming for the rest of the day. So I actually am curious what I'm going to be up to that night. So it's like I'm dreaming now, and then I go to bed, and then I'm like living. It's really weird. It's like this weird flip. I don't know if that would work for everybody. Not to say that I'm not like totally like present in my daily life, but I have to say that my dream life is a lot more active than my this physical body life. You know, I go and I cook, you know, when I go to work and I cook, but the whole time I'm at work, I am thinking about my adventures and I'm thinking about my intentions. I'm like, what do I want to do tonight? Who do I want to meet up with? You know, I'll think about Brendon. I'm like, we're going to meet up. Like, I'm so keen on waking him up in dream time, like, I don't know, this has been a mission for a while. Like, I'm gonna wake you up.
Wake me up, Lacey.
I've been trying. And I would call Lacey and I'm like, where is he? And I'm like, and I try to like sense his like, his spirit or something. And it's hard. Sometimes I can locate you really quick.
Yeah.
But other times it's like he's off doing something else. The one dream,
playing with my flute.
One time I like traveled and met you, and you were growing mushrooms.
Oh yeah,
on some like weird alien planet, and we had this cute little house, but you were growing some trippy mushrooms,
some like glow in the dark blue mushrooms.
I was like, hey, I found you.
I remember this.
Yeah. I'm like, I found you, and you were like,
and it's so trippy.
Look at my mushrooms. I was like I
my
like
mushrooms.
Let's eat those.
It's so trippy because like even whether it's a dream with me in it or just a dream that Lacey's had, but there are times where like she'll tell me a dream that involves me in it, and I'm like listening to it, and it's like, but I'm listening to it in a way that it's like coming back to me where it's almost like a memory, like, where I'm just like, yes, like I can feel this in some parallel reality. That part of me was there, or maybe it was just a projection or something like that. But I kind of like go into the space where I'm just like, even if I'm just kind of like trying to lean into that, I'm like, whoa, that feels familiar.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, it's just like, it sounds like something I'd be doing in some parallel reality. I'm growing blue mushrooms somewhere. Like, convince me I'm not, right?
Yeah.
Like, anyways, okay, we're over time now. So Lacey, any additional tips and tricks?
Yeah.
Real quick?
So I obviously journal, and I pretty much journal everything. So I can have really like obscure dreams where it's like a bobble-headed unicorn cat thing, you know, and it's like totally random, and I'm like, how does that make any sense? But I write it down. So whatever feels right to you, write it down, and then read it, like read it again and read it again and read it again. And I don't know, practice for me is just like when you're playing an instrument, you're touching the instrument, you're doing it even when it doesn't feel like much is going on or it doesn't sound good. So you just have to get through those hurdles of a lot of maybe mundane stuff, although I consider that important as well, or nightmares. Some people tend to have a lot of nightmares when they're really first starting out. A lot of shadow stuff comes up. Those are really, really amazing dreams, and you should lean into those. So just write everything down every day. Don't skip a day. This is a practice. If you want to get good at it, you have to put the work in, and it's not gonna you're not gonna be like, oh, I figured it out. And that's okay, because you know, I'm still a student and I'm still practicing, and I'm not an expert, and I've been doing it for a long time, but I have proof that you can get good at it, you know what I mean? So writing it down. Everyone said really great tips. I'm really big into feng shui, and like windows and doors. I know I get kind of weird with like placements, and I mean, I used to practice, like was pagan for like really long time, so I'm really into the way energies in a space and stuff. So really, whatever feels good to you, make it a practice, make it a ritual. Wake up thinking about it. You can definitely do your reality checks and all that to kind of keep you in that headspace. I set intentions, usually daily. What do I want to do tonight? Who do I want to meet up with? Sometimes I'll specifically call upon specific things, and you will be surprised at what you are capable of and what's like listening. So just trust your ability, because like Brendon said, we all can do it. We're all dreamers. Like it's built into us. It's so weird. It's like this crazy high tech that most people don't know how to access. And it's like the shamans access this, our ancestors were doing this, and they were bringing back, we wouldn't be here today without dreams. Dreams created this. Dreams created music, dreams created language, like everything is like from it. So you already have the key Yeah. It's there.
You are the key.
You are the key to it.
Yeah.
Put your little key in. Let's go.
Let's blast off. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Again, it's just like, oh, today's broadcast is going to be super short. 5 hours later, it just like happens. Like, we have not had a dream class that's been under like 5 hours, but today we'll make an exception. And again, just kind of like obvious tips and tricks, and we're just going around with any closing tips and tricks and gratitude. Again, pay attention to like cannabis, things you're consuming, things you put into your body. The cannabis thing is different for everyone. For some people it affects the recall, for others it don't. Pay attention to that, figure out whether or not it does for you, and just kind of like develop a relationship that works for you. Practice refraining from it if you find that you're not recalling your dreams. But again, in addition to that, like, just pay attention to your overall physical well-being as well, because your body is like the antenna. And there's a comment in the chat from Implying where it's literally just reminding us to like get out in the sun, like activate your vessel, right? So it's like when you're like exercising and taking care of yourself and getting sunlight and breathing and meditating, all of this like adds momentum to the potential for you to have those like more potent dreams. So again, we've kind of said this before, where it's like your dream practice, like you begin preparing for the night in the morning. Like as you wake up throughout the day, like your entire dream can actually be like preparation for the entire day can be preparation for the dream practice coming up. So just cultivating that intention to be able to bring more mindfulness through us throughout the day, and thus in turn, this is where we're talking about reality checks, like those habits come into the space at night. So this is like a reality check thing. If you're intentionally cultivating awareness during the day, you're like looking at things, you're looking at ceilings, you're getting curious, you're looking at details, you're like touching things, feeling things, being in awe, looking at like trees and leaves and just kind of like placements and things, not to the point where it's like neurotic, but just kind of like very much just kind of like it naturally bringing out a little bit more of a curiosity, opposed to just kind of like the drone mentality where you're just kind of floating through and it's like, oh, it's the same thing every day. But you're starting to like look at things a little bit differently. You're bringing in that curiosity and that consciousness, that awakefulness. Then that in turn carries over into the dream space. And this is something that can lead towards, again, the lucid dreaming, where much like what I've just said, like you'll develop you'll start looking at things within the dream space. So it's like, find the habits that you can bring into your reality that will carry over into the dream space. And again, there's lots of tips and tricks for reality checks, like pulling your finger, seeing if it stretches, which is again testing like kind of like the physics of the space. Like in the dream space, if you pull your finger, it might kind of stretch the finger, and that can be a trigger. You can like, again, kind of like try counting your fingers. You can try looking at ceilings, flicking light switch, looking at clocks, try reading things, having a totem, pulling out a totem from your pocket that reminds you of something. Like you can actually bring the totem from your waking life into the dream space as well. There's no, like, this is a topic for another class, but like there's so many like little, not just tips and tricks within waking life, but also within the dream space, where it's like, oh, like you can actually find tools and create tools and methods that you can use as techniques to navigate the dream space, where it's just like, oh, like I know how to create portals. Lacey, like there's another dream, and we probably won't get into it today, with your freaking like light arm cannon, like freaking like technology where it's like a freaking light cannon like comes off her arm and it like shoots portals out of it.
It came from inside my chest.
Yeah, it's like a technology, and
but
it's just like builds this light portal, like this cannon, and you shoot it.
I called it a light cannon.
A light cannon, and it opens portals, right? So it's like, if you can do that once, what happens if you were to actually kind of cultivate the awareness where in future dreams you could like reactivate that, So it's like you cultivate these like superpowers, where it's like, oh, I can fly in my dreams. Boom, you get good at flying. And then it's like, oh, I can create portals in my dreams. You get good at creating portals. Oh, I can summon UFOs in my dreams. You can start doing that. Oh, I can travel through time in my dreams, right? So it's like, within dream space, we literally have these superhero-like abilities to be able to actually tap into, to experience. And and then again, with that, it gives us more of the capability to be able to explore this landscape, thus the capability to develop relationship with other consciousness that exists in this landscape, and also to be able to explore more facets of ourselves as well. Who else would like to be able to share some tips and tricks? I know we're over time, guys. I apologize. Robert, you had your hand up earlier as well. So Robert, we'll pass over to you. Who wants to go after Robert, just so we can keep a tab on things? If anybody would like to just be able to, even if it's just closing gratitude, we'll get into the closing gratitude after.
Do closing gratitude?
Yeah, Kristen, you can pass after. So Robert, go ahead. Any tips and tricks that you wanted to add?
Yeah. So I just wanted to also add in, I was thinking of something that I just learned about recently. Like if you, even if you're not intentionalizing it, and you are, like, if you are looking for an answer to something, your subconscious will remember that you're looking for an answer. So maybe, like, just staying optimistic also, and looking for any subtle clues. So the what I'm getting to is actually, like, a lot of the sewing machine. If you don't know this, the sewing machine was actually, like, invented through the creator through a dream. The answer came to him in a dream. He couldn't figure out how to design the needle. The needle normally has the hole on the top, and he was in this dream, and he was in this, like, Indian battle, and they were throwing spears, and these spears had a hole in the spear part, and that's how he figured out to put the hole in the sharp end of the needle instead of the back end, was through his dream. So, like, staying open to any subtle messages or answers that you are looking for, that your subconscious will naturally bring towards you also. That was just a really random fun fact I wanted to add in, and just my closing gratitude for this space as well. I love everybody. This space has been growing immensely for some time now, so thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add something to that? I'm terrible. I'm taking the mic like crazy.
What you were saying,
I'm so bad.
I forgot what you were saying.
That's so cool, yeah, about, like, people, like, dreaming and inventing. Actually, in where we live, the person that created insulin, he's from our town, and he dreamt of how to create it. So like, I've been in the house. It's like downtown where we live. And it's like pretty awesome.
That is,
and it shows you when he woke up and wrote in his journal, and that he found like how insulin was created. He dreamt it and saved, and he saved millions of lives because of it, which is just really trippy and cool.
So so again, it's like, for each and every single one of us here, let's assume that, like, what can we dream that may change the world, even if it just changes a world by changing a person's life, so never underestimate that. Like, we literally are here to, again, be ambassadors of these higher conscious ideas, and they come through dream space, but they come through even in our waking state. They come through connecting to the heart. So that's where, like, again, I think, in addition to everything that we're saying, one of the basic tips and tricks for dream practice is to practice connecting to your heart space, and the many different ways that we do that. That's why it's like, oh, you want to, like, it's like, honestly, the answer to everything, it's like, oh, you want to get better at remembering your dreams? Like, go spend time in nature. Like, like seriously, like, that will always, the solution to everything is going to be nature, like, this is a topic for another time, but literally, just being able to intentionally create that, connection to your heart space. And that's where, again, just like, really, before sleep, really just kind of like falling in love with the practice of sleep, and really just kind of, again, being around community that really just like cultivates more of this passion and this inspiration. And again, it's kind of this idea where it's like, you receive the dreams you're ready for. And I think when you approach dreams, to try and will something where it's like, I want this to happen, I want this to happen, the universe will be like, patience, my child, like, you are far too eager, you must be humbled first, we shall make you wait 9 years, or something like that. Like, sometimes that honestly does happen, right? But if you're just like, like, I'm setting the intention, but I release the expectation at the same time. It's a dream cats coming in. Shake it over here. Speaking of dream cats, this cat has literally,
what I wanted to add.
I was just gonna say real quick, I've had dreams where I'd be like sleeping. For those of you on the podcast, it's Lacey and I's child, the cat, Shay. But anyways, I've had dreams where I was like sleeping in the bed, and the cat like literally comes and like sits like right on my neck, and then I would have dreams with her in it. I'm sure other people have had this, where like the cats are actually these like creatures that can interface with our dream time. which is why I think like the Egyptians probably kept them around so much, right? So Lacey,
They're bridges to other worlds.
Yeah,
for sure.
what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, the cat. That everyone's so eager to lucid dream, but it's like be lucid in life.
Lucid life, yeah.
So I'm very lucid in my daily life, and you were describing that very well.
Yeah.
I'm very hypervigilant anyways. Lucid living. So
she's eating the guac.
Don't let her.
Don't let her eat the guac.
She can't eat the guac. She can't eat the guac.
If I were a cat, I'd want to eat some guac.
This cat eats everything. She's like a dog, and I have 2 dogs, so
go ahead.
She just follows the dogs around. But yeah, I just said lucid in life. So really living in, I guess, the holy moment and being like hyper aware, and yeah, and it really does help. It really helps. And I'll say that it's not hard. I don't want people thinking that, like, you know, me saying, the cat, oh my god, me saying like, oh, it's a practice and it's actually so much fun though, and it's not strenuous, and it's really easy to make it a part of your daily practice. It's so good for you and good for your soul, and you will feel so good when you start getting into it. And not to be too like, be hard on yourself or too much pressure to like reach some type of like, you know, and it'll all come real naturally. So yeah, I just wanted to say that it's not hard. It really isn't. It's just you have to be consistent. That's all. Yeah. It's
a simple thing that just requires consistency. You know, like, oh, writing down your dreams, that's not too hard. All right, team. 1 more hour and then we're officially done after this. Now we're almost done. We gotta get up early tomorrow. Reminder, we do have a team meditation Friday morning at 10 a.m. EDT. So if you're new to the community in the YouTube chat, drop a 333 in the chat. And if you guys are having fun, just show some gratitude, show some love. And reminder, if you're looking to be able, we're getting close to the end of the broadcast. If you're looking to be able to join in for future dream classes on air, definitely check out our Patreon to learn more about becoming a leading member. Other leading members, even as we're plugging this, feel free to like encourage people listening to join as leading members. That's always super helpful. And again, if you're looking to connect like further with more like dream style communities, connect with Lacey's stuff. But we got other people in the community who are also continuing these discussions. Kristen, Robert, again, both of them, as well as many of the other, Kaci, the people who are here as well, also have their own like conscious communities, and the dream discussion is coming up in all of them as well. So welcome to those of you who, again, maybe just tuned in for the first time. Make sure you're connected to the Discord channel. Link for that's in the info for this video. And let's just go around with just some quick closing gratitude, and then we'll just do a very short meditation. We'll like visualize us around the dream tree, but it won't be like a full-on guided meditation today. So who wants to just share any closing gratitude? And thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and allowing us to go a little bit over time.
I'll go now before. I'll just.
Go ahead and then take care of the.
Come back to me.
Thank goodness. I mean,
thank God. I'm talking too much. I'm sorry, guys. I talk a lot. Thank you so much, everyone, for showing up today and just being vulnerable in your heart spaces and just sharing your wisdom. I love hearing. Like, everyone had such beautiful things to say, and I'm, connected to all of you, and I hope to see you in the astral, in the dream space.
Just licking my toes.
Dog is under the table. So thank you. Love you all. Everyone in the comments. I would love to look through the comments. I've been trying to look in, and there's so much cool stuff going on there. So yeah, I love you all, and yeah, see you in the astral. So.
Yeah, and see you in future discussions in Lacey's Dream Den thingamajig.
I'd like to do more like dream discussions this. They won't be recorded, but we'll just be like, guess holding each other.
Yeah, really intimate and practical.
Just showing up. I'm really bad with time management, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna make it all work. But I want you guys to come for sure. Even if you're a beginner, definitely come and share your wisdom, because you are part of it as well. So. Yeah. So if you guys again enjoyed listening to some of the people speak tonight,
send them a message on Instagram and just be like, hey, I listened to you on the broadcast tonight and I really enjoyed it. So let's keep passing the talking around. Sorry, we've got like a dog under the table who clearly needs to go out. Kristen, we'll pass it over to you next. Go ahead, Kristen. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yay, just so much gratitude for everybody for being here, for sharing space, for sharing their hearts. Lacey, I can't wait for your dream thingies that you're gonna do, wherever I'm gonna be there. So, but yeah, just I always appreciate the wisdom that is gained from these beautiful spaces and the ability to just be able to show up from our hearts and be our authentic self. Like, I'm hearing a message from Carley yesterday where it was like, I really appreciate being able to just show up and like be my weird authentic self and know that I'm going to be received and be able to be heard and be seen and be able to do that for everybody else as well. So, and I always appreciate the love in the chat and all the amazing things that we share. It's beautiful to watch the pieces unfold as it moves along. So thank you guys for holding beautiful space and just sharing lots of love. So thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Anybody else just closing gratitude and thoughts? Kelly, will pass it over to you when you're ready. Go right ahead.
Yeah, thank you all for the space and everyone in the chat. I can feel the excitement in the chat. It's nice. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kelly, as well. And Robert, Carley, if either of you want to be able to share some closing gratitude, go right ahead. Robert, yeah, go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this space has been beautiful, transformative, and yeah, I did one random poll. I pulled the death card, and this dragon is shedding its skin like a snake, and I just cannot believe how far all of us have come through these spaces and just shedding so many older versions of ourselves and just really becoming just newer, beautiful versions every day, every week. And I can't wait for the family meditation in the morning. And yeah, this has been, I haven't been on a live for quite some time now. I've made so much progress and I'm still working on everything. And thank you for all the support, everybody here.
Beautiful. Thank you, Robert, as well. Yeah, absolutely. Like that's the thing, like I want us to be able to do these dream classes so that in like 5 years from now we'll look back and we'll be like, wow, like look where we are now, look at where we were then, right? So let's keep holding that vision in our heart of like, what could it look like if all of us here just put a little bit more attention towards our dream practices, and how that in turn, again, will also help us accelerate the shift in consciousness as well. So we have so much support and love, and it, like a lot of it is like it can be directly interacted with through the dream space as well. So like those guides, those like they can literally like interface with us in dream space. At least that's from what my experience is as well. So they're here to support us, and it's just so beautiful. So Cosmic Carley, did you want to share any closing gratitude? If you're able to do so, feel free to do so.
Yes, my son, he's so ready for bed. I thought he was gonna go to sleep a lot earlier, but we are Eastern time zone. Can we say night night? Can we say we love everybody? Night, guys. Love you. We love you very much. This has been lovely. Thank you for holding space for us to be ourselves, as always. Say night night. Love you. You say any blah, 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 blah. He wants to watch Vroom Vroom with Mama, so we're gonna watch Wall-E. Love you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, Carley. Beautiful. Happy to be able to have the little dreamers here as well. And I mean, that's like a whole topic in itself. It's just like, what do the kids dream about, right? And we got a lot of moms here, and I know like that's like a topic in itself where it's like moms having discussion about dreams that their kids have and things like that. So, like we'll get more into that another time. So with that said, let's just do a quick little closing meditation, and thank you again everyone for being here. And I hope out of this has been a conversation that has in some way just like inspired your spirit, ignited something inside of you that's just like, yeah, I'm gonna start, maybe I'll make that dream journal tonight, you know, buy a new journal just for dreaming, set that intention. Maybe you're gonna clean your space, maybe you're gonna, you know, meditate before bed, do a little journaling before bed, maybe you're gonna record some audio, maybe you're gonna talk about it with your friends. Like, continue these conversations, even if it's just a direct message. Like, find, like, you know, maybe you can, outside of this community, feel free to like find a dream buddy, someone that you can share dreams with. Like, within Paradigm Shift and other communities, we do have our Discord servers where we're practicing sharing our dream logs. So for leading members here, inviting you to practice sharing your dream logs more. And I'm telling this to myself too, I'm not the best at it, but again, the collective support of the community definitely helps. And yeah, let's keep working on this together, because again, I feel that as much as the dream practice is a very personal thing, it is something that is actually like much bigger than us. Like, when we work on the dream practice, it's like literally something that's like helping create more of this energy and making it accessible to other people. So it's like, as we get better at connecting with our dream practice, perhaps that helps other people get better at connecting with it as well. So yeah, let's just move into a quick little meditation. And so when we do these closing meditations, we have this whole concept where we didn't talk about it today, but shared dreaming. And we have this space that we have created within the community. And it's basically like this beautiful tree, this beautiful, like, psychedelic, magical tree that has like this aura and this breath to it. For today's meditation, we're just going to keep it short and sweet. We're just going to imagine ourselves basically just arriving at the tree, and we're just going to imagine ourselves just kind of like being in the presence of the tree. And what I want you to do is to create your own personal connection to this tree. And you're going to imagine yourself kind of going up and hugging it. And we do a version of this within our special Friday Light Guardian meditation, which again, Friday, 10 a.m. If you guys are new, make sure you tune in for that if you get a chance. They're super, super cool. And the link for that's through our Discord channel. And then from there, it's just going to be a chance for you to just kind of like really focus on going into this meditation as it being something that you can replicate as you're falling asleep. So I want you to focus on creating the scene with as much detail as possible, to feel it as much as possible, and then to kind of be able to create it in a simple way where next time when you're going to sleep, you can almost imagine yourself like arriving at this tree. And this tree is the shared space that we access through both dream time and meditation. And this is a real thing in the community. People in our community, they meet up at this tree. Like, it's beyond theory at this point. Like, it's actually happening where we collectively meet up in the astral planes at this dream tree, or the guardian tree as we call it. So if you're ready for this meditation, drop an 1111 in the chat, and yes, to the tree, dreamers unite at the tree. And we'll go to the tree, we'll send it some love, we'll connect with our heart, deepen our personal relationship with it, and then we'll conclude after that. So go ahead and get yourself nice and comfortable for everybody here, and thank you again so much for helping anchor in this energy together. So with that said, just allow yourself to get nice and comfortable if you're able to do so. Meaning basically like if you're not driving or operating heavy machinery or something like that. So, okie dokie. All right. If it's your first time here, don't worry, we'll guide you through this even if you're not familiar with meditation. So for everybody here, when you're ready, just go ahead. Find a comfortable spot, move your body if you need to. And with that said, let us begin our short meditation, dream, imagination practice. Simply begin by connecting with your breath. Soft, gentle inhales, and soft, gentle exhales. Adjust your posture as need be, maybe just straightening up your spine, opening up your chest, relax your face. Just giving an extra moment here as you just connect to the rhythm of your breath, the softness of it. Almost imagining now as if you were preparing to go to sleep. Imagining what it would feel like if you were just kind of lying down and allowing yourself to create this scene in a way where it would just naturally drift into the dream space. And shout out to our dog who's here to meditate with us. Quiet, doggy. Shh, 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 shh. Calming our inner wagging dog. Okay, we'll keep it going. So just breathing here. And as we breathe here, what we're going to do, we're just going to gently bring some awareness to our physical body to just help it relax. And this is a technique that you can use before falling asleep. Just imagining this beautiful light at the center of your heart. And now imagine this light just moving through your body, filling up your body like you would be filling up a cup with water. And so you feel this light moving through your chest, down your arms, all the way to your fingers, allowing those parts of the body to relax. Feeling this beautiful light moving through your torso, down through your hips, your thighs, all the way down to your feet. Just allowing those parts of the body to relax. Feeling this energy moving up through your spine, your shoulders, your neck, all the way up to your face. Just allowing this part of your body to relax. And so from here, we'll gently imagine ourselves arriving into the location of the dream tree. And to begin, you can imagine yourself a little bit a distance away. And much as if you would if you were dreaming, you can imagine yourself even just kind of like floating right now. And maybe you can just kind of feel the grass just tickling underneath your feet, but there's like no gravity right now. You can will yourself to move. And so you see this tree before you, and as you do, just allow yourself to bring awareness to the details and the textures of this scene. Look at the sky. What does the sky look like? Maybe it looks like daytime and nighttime at the same time. You can see like stars and nebulas. Very dreamlike. The grass is just immaculate, beautiful, fresh. You can feel its coolness, even if you're just slightly hovering above it. And from here, as you look towards the tree, you see it just pulsating with this beautiful energy, this magical tree, and you feel it gently just inviting you in. And so allow yourself at this moment, much as if you were in a dream, as if you were intending yourself to fly, to just focus on gently floating where you are over towards where the dream tree is. And you feel yourself just floating through the air with ease, effortlessness. And as you arrive to the tree, gently imagine yourself just slowly bringing your feet onto the ground. And you see other people here in this moment, and there are people gathered around the tree, and they're all kind of doing their own thing right now. People are dancing, reading, giving massages, creating art, having discussions, little circles, martial arts, element bending, kind of like from Avatar, all sorts of dreamlike stuff as well. But right now in this moment, it's you and the tree. And so allow yourself to walk up to the tree and pay attention to the exact moment that you touch the tree. And as you do, you feel the texture of its bark on your fingers. And literally just imagine, like, what does that texture feel like? Like, you know what a tree feels like. Imagine that. Imagine that texture. Feel it. And as you do, you just allow it to fill your palm. And you slowly just kind of bring yourself up to the tree in a way where you can just wrap your arms around it. And as you do this, you allow yourself to just kind of synchronize your energy with the tree. You feel this like heartbeat, this breath moving through the tree. And as it does, it moves through you. And so you can feel the roots of the tree as an extension of your own, the branches as an extension of your own. And just allow yourself to, in this moment, just pour your love into this tree. And as you do, you just cultivate a relationship with it. And in turn, you feel its love circulating into you. And just breathe here. Really breathe deep, deep inhales. Nice soft exhales. Almost slowing the rhythm of your breath down to match the breath of the tree. So really deep inhale. Nice soft exhales. So just take another moment here. We're not going to be here for too long. But you can almost visualize like inside the tree, like its energetic veins. Like it doesn't have blood, but it still has like this energy that moves through it. And you can feel that energy just connecting to you through your heart. So in this moment, you express your gratitude for the tree, you thank it, and you feel it inviting you into this space where it's like, you will find your way here. You will return back to that space. Like feel that connection, be like, yes, I feel it. I feel it. I feel it calling me. I feel like the beacon of this tree. And so from here, just getting ready to conclude, imagine now you just allow yourself to gently release your arms from around the tree and just allow yourself to gently sit in lotus position in front of the tree if you wish. So your spine is now against the tree and you can just feel like your spine straightening up. And again, you just allow yourself to connect with this energy of the tree, just kind of moving in through your own spine. Just breathing here, just synchronizing, creating this co-regulated experience. And just take a moment here as you look around and look at all the details. And again, doing it in a way where it's like imagining you're falling asleep right now, but you fall asleep in such a way where you literally just like arrive at this space. The moment between wakefulness and dream just blends together. And so as you look around this space, just flexing your imagination, just imagining, that's all. Imagining as you look up and you see the branches and you see these beautiful energies and you see other people smiling and dancing. Like focus on the feeling of this space. What does it feel like? The feeling will bring you back. What does it feel like? Answer that question to yourself. What does it feel like? What would it feel like for you to be in this space? Community, home, family, tribe, connection, hope, joy, inspiration, passion, creativity, courage, love. And so we're just going to take a few moments here and gently go ahead. You can put your hands on your chest, hands on your heart. And just holding gratitude in your heart and just being able to kind of like set that intention and be like finding your way back here. Hear the call of the tree, the guardian tree. It invites you into this space, and in this space there are many things that you can do to share and learn and grow together. So just feel the love of this space and just take a few more moments, and I'll just let you just be in this space where I'll just stop talking and just allow yourself to really just kind of like see this space, feel this space, see this beautiful energy that people fill it up with, and feel the connection and hold that intention in your heart to be able to be like, whoa, like I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here in dream time. I feel it. So take a few moments here. Just be in your own silence. I'm just going to mute my microphone. Just allow yourself to just be in this presence. Feel this energy. Take a few more moments there, and then we'll gently conclude this meditation. Go ahead. Just gently breathing here. Just feel that serenity. Become familiar with that feeling. Fall in love with it. Feels like home. And so from here, what we'll do, we'll gently begin to transition out of this meditation, but at the same time, you can continue to just imagine that there is a part of you that is still sitting under that tree, that is there in spirit. And so even as you move through your day, in the back of your mind, you can just be like, oh, like I'm still present at the tree as much as you choose to be. And next time you fall asleep, or whenever you choose to do so, you can replay this scene within your mind and imagine yourself like arriving and maybe just talking to people, just playing out a scene within your mind and just allowing the heart to just kind of like fill in the blank, so to speak. So taking one more look around, seeing this space and getting excited about being able to return to it, setting that intention, knowing that just connecting to this space energetically is also connecting you into the shared intention, the intention of this community of light guardians, of dreamers awakening within the dream, of shifters. So concluding off with gratitude, thanking yourself, thanking this community, thanking this space, thanking the tree, thanking whatever else that you hold within your heart right now. Take some gentle breaths here and do a little bit of an exhale with a sigh if you wish. Deep inhale. Nice exhale, bit of a sigh. Another one of those. Inhale. Soft exhale. Slowly from here, allowing yourself to feel this image within your mind crystal clear. You're going to carry it with you. And gently we'll conclude this meditation as we gently bring awareness back to our physical body, continuing to keep the rhythm of your breath nice and gentle. When you are ready, slowly you can bring awareness back to your physical body as you wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and when you're ready, gently open your eyes and return your awareness to the space around you. Beautiful. Let's take a few moments here. Welcome back, everybody. For those of you in the YouTube chat, how's everybody feeling right now? How was that for you? Feel free to leave some comments in the YouTube chat. It was wonderful. So cool. Beautiful. Yeah, we've done a version of that meditation literally every single dream class, and that goes back like 5 years now. So, but yeah, the stories of people meeting at the dream tree and everything are just fascinating. So holding that intention as a community. So beautiful. Kelly, Robert, Kristen, just before we conclude it off, anything you guys feel called to share just based on that meditation? Just short and sweet, and then we'll finish it off here if you wish. And if not, no worries. We'll get close to wrapping it up. Just gratitude. Kristen, did you want to share something? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Brendon. That was very lovely. It was very deeply heartfelt. I had some sacred tears come down my face. So it was just really lovely to connect with you all, and thank you all for just being beautiful beacons of light.
Thank you, Kristen, for sharing. And Robert or Kelly, if there's anything you guys want to share. If not, I know the gratitude's coming through beyond words. So okay. Beautiful. Yeah, just ride that vibe. And even from here, it's always exciting to like have dream class and then like to go to sleep. And it's like, oh, I wonder what we're going to dream about tonight. So set that intention. So beautiful. So thank you again, everyone. Seeing the comments in the YouTube chat. Thank you for everyone who's been engaging there. And with that said, we'll conclude this broadcast. And again, I just greatly appreciate everybody for joining in. The Dream Class podcast, we do it every couple months here within the Paradigm Shift Central community. But again, if you're looking to connect further with other dream spaces, again, connect with Kristen, connect with Robert, connect with Lacey, connect with Kaci, connect with all of these amazing creators and facilitators that we have in our community as well. And even just reach out to anybody here. I'm sure, if you just have a question or want to follow up and just be like, oh, I'm sure they would be able to talk to you a bit about dreams as well. And yeah, with that said, we'll get ready just to close it off. And Lacey is just coming back into the room and just making sure that no dogs are following her, I guess. And
I had to deal with the animals, yeah.
no worries. So Lacey, we're just closing it off officially.
Okay.
So Lacey, was there any just last things you want to share? I know you were busy during that meditation, but you've done it before, but just any closing thank yous?
Thanks everyone for showing up.
Yeah.
That's like a big step, and everyone just holding space for each other is so important. And I'm not talking too quiet. I'm getting tired, but yeah, I just had a really great time tonight, so thanks for having me.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lacey. Appreciate your support. So looking forward to more discussions, and yeah, for everybody here in Dream Class, I encourage you guys to the best of your abilities, leading members, leave some comments in the Discord, even if it's just like super minimal. It's just like I remember one thing. Try using the Discord as a place to log your stuff. Robert, did you have something you wanted to share real quick? Yeah, go ahead, dude.
Yeah, I didn't think of it until Lacey came back during the beginning of that, and you said something about floating around, and then all of us like turned into like 2D versions of ourselves, and it made me think of Paper and Paper Druid. And we were just all floating around as our own little universes around the tree.
Very cool visual. Awesome. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you for this space.
Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking like Paper Mario or something like that. So yeah.
That one's hard.
That's a hard one. Anyways, we'll talk about that. Cool. All right. Yeah. So again, for everybody here, thank you. If you're looking to connect further with the team and you haven't done so, connect to our Paradigm Shift Discord. The link for that's in the info for this video, tinyurl.com/shift Discord. You can also find us on Spotify under Paradigm Shift Radio. We got lots of other team podcasts happening here, different varieties. And next week we'll be back again, and stay tuned for the topic, but we also have the Paradigm Shift Central Circles throughout the week as well. And those again are non-recorded, voice-only conscious conversations. And if you're on the Discord, you're welcome to be able to join those. And Fridays, at the time of this recording, the topic is going to be, is time an illusion? So it kind of segues out of stuff we were talking about today. And again, we do have our team meditations Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. EDT. And again, the Paradigm Shift Central Circles are Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. EDT, plus all sorts of other awesome events that other leading members in the community are facilitating. So if you enjoyed this broadcast, share it with your friends, add a like, subscribe, come back again. And if you're looking to connect further, be sure to check out the Discord, join on there as a super awesome way to connect further with the community, and give yourself the gift of that additional support network to be able to help you on your journey of personal creation and embodiment and activation and all of those cool things that we're doing here together as a team. And thank you again to the Patreon supporters. You guys help make this possible. So with that said, we will conclude this broadcast, and I encourage everybody here, even just leave some comments of gratitude in the Discord channel afterwards. And I love you guys so much. Thank you as always. Check the info for the show note to be able to connect with all of the leading members and their Instagrams and check out more of their content. And with that said, we will conclude this broadcast, and I just invite everybody here to be able to just gently unmute your microphones, and we'll just say good night and much love, and see you at the dream tree, everyone. So go ahead, say good night, everyone. We love you guys. We love you.
Good night, everyone. Much love. See you at the tree.
Thank you again, everyone. Good night.